So, analyzing the maps, the bans real quickly. So we got DZ banning Oregon Club, Villa Chalet, Soniqs banning Bank, Sky, Theme, and Cafe. Now, there's a fun thing we can do here. This is a short, little abridged version of what I do. Usually I do it with my spreadsheet. My spreadsheet's all like kind of automated and does a lot of the math for me. But just off the top of my head, we'll focus on DZ first. Oregon Club, Villa Chalet. Remember those four. Oregon Club, Villa Chalet. Looking at the previous matches, this is OXG. It was Oregon Club, Villa Chalet. Oregon Club, Villa Chalet decider. So we got Oregon Club Villa. Then we keep that going on to the next match, or the previous match, which is M80. Oregon Club Villa, Oregon Club Villa. Oregon Villa, where was Club? Club was banned here before M80. So Oregon Villa, 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 Oregon Villa. And then Club's back here too. So we can at least deduce that DZ don't like Oregon, Club, or Villa. Pretty straightforward. Now with going back, and we can go forward in time as well. Oregon Club Villa, Oregon Club Villa, Oregon Villa Club was first banned by BC. So yep, Oregon Villa, Oregon Villa, Oregon Villa, Oregon Villa, Oregon Villa Club. So we can tell basically just from this alone that DZ does not like Oregon Villa or Club. Typically they do get let off a little bit in these ban phases from what we've seen by opponents banning maps that they have a preference to ban themselves. So that is maybe a little slap on the wrist to some of these teams not doing some due diligence, but we'll do Soniqs now. Bank, Sky, Theme, Cafe. Going back with that is Bank, Sky, Theme, Cafe. Bank, Theme are the only consistent ones between those two. Theme, Sky, Bank, Cafe. Bank, Theme, Sky. Bank, Sky, Theme was banned by SSG. So it's clear that both teams have essentially come into the best of one phase with an idea in mind of what maps they just don't feel like playing for this entirety of phase one. In phase two, I do believe these are best of threes, so both Soniqs and Dark Zero did make it into phase two. So if they want to try and up their game in the ban phase, they would probably have to broaden the horizons on their map bans. The best way to do that is to actually learn one of your least favorite maps and scrim it a lot and try and force it to become one of your best maps, and then you can surprise people with it. At the end of the day, there's no point hiding things, there's no point hiding strategies, there's no point hiding your ban phase if you're trying to qualify for a tournament. And even in the early stages of a tournament, it's better to go all out at the start and get as far as you can than just try and save things and then regret it later. But yes, both teams have identifiers in their ban phases which are abusable, but because when two teams that have ban phases like that go up against each other, it ends up essentially being a mid-off. Both teams end up playing usually a map that they're not favored on. Obviously, I only looked at maps banned, not maps played, so for all I know, Soniqs could fucking love Border, but I haven't actually had a look at that. But I will maybe do that in the future, but for now I don't want to keep it short and sweet. But ban phase-wise, both teams managed to get in the bans that they deemed important, leaving them on either Cafe, Chalet, or Border. How often a week can you get in these VOD reviews? One a week, and then I'm going to probably try and stream a little bit more if I can. I've kind of segmented my time now. Monday through Friday, I'm usually working on my shorts. I'm trying to get basically a massive stash of shorts recorded, edited, and ready to be uploaded, so that I'm not like lagging behind and I'm not struggling to make content on time. Like even right now, let me pull up my thing real quick. So I have 3 weeks of shorts recorded and edited. Week 1 is fully posted. I posted the first one of week 2, which is the theme park nade. The next one gets posted tomorrow. I have 18 shorts recorded, edited, and ready to be uploaded, and I've posted 7 of them. So I have 11. I'm 11 ahead. So that's what I'm trying to do with the shorts. And I usually spend Monday through Friday editing those and recording the gameplay for them and doing the scripts and things like that. So it doesn't take too long, and I have split it up across the days. But at the end of the like, I'm really busy. Like, Monday through Thursday, I'm also watching like EU and NAL when the EU and NA Blast rather when they're on, and I'm editing videos in between matches, and I'm trying to be healthy, so I'm going out on walks more. So there isn't a lot of time to do a lot of stream stuffs. I didn't even realize that Terror Shocks was the Snooker knows the meepeY knows stuff. I just thought it'd be a good little short snippet. But yeah. Hello, Daddy. Hello, Desert. And hello, Lurch. Welcome, you three, and everyone else that's looking in there. Hello, Grim. How you doing, bud? Hoping to see you in a pro team soon. Just beg, don't join Secret. I can't handle supporting Grubby. Is what it is at the end of the day, bud. Nothing like that set in stone for me, anyway. No teams are looking for anything right now because, you know, we're in the middle of a season, so I'm not going to get any kind of interest or offers or anything just yet. How are you, boss? I'm good. I'm good. Keeping myself busy. That's the big thing now that I have a lot of time. Just keep myself busy watching EU and NA, a little bit of LATAM, and editing the shorts. Maybe jump.
I hope to see you on a team soon.
Thank you, Chipster. I hope to be on a team soon, but we'll see. What's your thoughts on the Soniqs roster as a whole? You know, it's interesting because I saw the R6 Pro League post of, was it Gunners, like, Ying play? And they said, oh, this could be the reasons for the Soniqs, blah, 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 shortcomings and what have you. And I'm pretty sure that's this match, I think. I can't remember. Sound alert's too loud. Yeah, it scared the shit out of me as well. Don't worry. Thank you for the resub, bud, by the way. 9 months is a long time. I'll edit that now. Hold on. Alert box. And it's on subscriptions. And I'm going to turn that shit down. Oh my god. Turn that down by like half. But I can't scroll down to see the confirm button. There we go. Hey, yo, someone subscribe so we can test whether the sound is quiet enough. Wink. Oops, minimize something important there. On paper, the Soniqs team should be top 5 in the world IMO, but Citizen Geo kind of playing mid. You know, it's interesting. I watched that clip of the clutch. Easy peasy. Thanks, Regent. Thank you so much, and welcome, Iltsu. And yeah, that's much quieter. That didn't jump scare me. I heard the comms, and obviously it's a tiny excerpt of what their entire team is about. It's a tiny excerpt of half a round of one match. But I did have that soft spot feeling in my heart as Gio is trying to wrangle everyone in, and people are just kind of pushing things on their own, or they're not really listening to him. I feel that deep in my heart. I've been there before. I've been there with Koi as well, not just as a player. I understand what it's like when people are super hyped up and they're wanting to like overextend and make plays, or go for the 4K, the 5K. They want to go for a clip essentially. But you can lean into that. That's definitely something you can lean into on your team, like playing for clips. It's something that we did on Koi quite a lot. Give people the freedom to make the plays they want. Just understand that if you make the play and you fuck up, it's on you. It's not on the team. But yeah, let's jump into the VOD. Go away, my bottom bar. There we go. So we'll skip through Dokubi ban, that's fine. Dokubi and Lion are both extremely strong operators now. Azami probably the best defender in the game. Solus probably the second best defender in the game. So hey ho, we're back into the like year 3 meta where we just ban out a bunch of strong ops. 59 min review about to turn to a 4-hour one. Please, for the love of Christ, no. I have things I want to do today. I literally just finished editing 3 of the shorts, so that's what I've been doing all day. Okie dokie. So we'll focus on the defense side first because that's locked in for now. Mira, Frost, Bandit, Oryx, and Mozzie for an armory defense. Yeah, that's okay. I'm just curious where this Bandit's going to go more than anything. If this Bandit's going to be somewhere, he's going to be doing triple wall. There is, I guess, a chance that he'll, I'll talk about that in a second, he'll do like fountain walls to short, maybe, but I think it's probably likely he'll do triple wall. Barricaded the door, reinforced off the bathroom from the window. I assume this is just so Oryx can play freely inside a bathroom and around workshop here, more than anything else. I would say though, as like a small thing, don't break the glass. If you can help it as a defender, go through the door, barricade it, and go the long way. I know it's like kind of a real min-max thing, but that glass serves as a pretty big sound cue. Even if it's not a player, just a drone jumping through the glass gives you more information than you'd think. Especially if you're playing a guy on the catwalk or inside a break room. That's a really good place to put your Solus, by the way, break room. If you hear that glass break, you can use your Solus to see where the drone's coming from. If the drone is coming from tellers, then you know that someone's probably teller's window. If the drone's going to tellers, yeah, they're probably trying to see if there's a roamer down there. And it's likely come from underneath you more than anything else, or the drone hole just hiding down here. You look so much different when you're not wearing a suit. Yeah, it's a suit effect, man. Not negatively, yeah, I understand that. Like, suits, there's a reason why they've been around for hundreds of years. They make you look good. Like, doesn't matter how big you are, how tall you are, how fat you are, how thin you are. Wearing a suit just makes you look fucking good. And it makes you look very different as well. Mind your language? Nope. I am a sailor mouth through and through. I will swear until the cows come home. Super losers mind this game. I'll also say that I wouldn't be surprised Gio is on this team in the next 6 months from the way I see super criticism about how he plays. Ooh. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to quickly jump back and see drones, if we can just spot some drones real quickly. Based on spectator PV, they're really just fixated on citizen here, so probably not going to see drones. I'm going to tell you about my plight as a coach with a little bit of an analyst streak in them when I'm doing like prep for games and stuff. The spectator POV is bugged on 8 of the 9 maps. And some maps it's bugged more than others, where you can't see drones in the prep phase. On some, you can see the drone. On one, you can see the drone and the player's icon above it, and the drone's outline driving around. Some, you can't see the player's name. You can only see the drone and the outline. And some, you can only see the drone. No outline, no player's name. So you literally don't know where the drones are. And Skyscraper is the worst. Skyscraper is the worst for VOD reviewing, looking for drones and stuff like that. See... Easters, just outside of Easters on the right hand side, just where my mouse cursor is. Look at that shit. There's a drone there. Drone gone. Drone gone. This is the type of shit I have to like go over with a magnifying glass to try and find. Alright, mirror windows. Mirror's not the most typical operator now for border. It's quite hard to integrate her efficiently just because of the way that the map is sorted out. However, the map was changed a while ago, where this mirror window is now a little bit more safe. You can't destroy this floor underneath it, so the mirror window here is actually quite strong. Bandit is actually just for the mirror window. Oh, that's an interesting one as well. Alright, so we see that the hatch here has been reinforced by Gunner, and I assume he's going to bandit trick it and then bandit trick his wall on suicide. which is perfectly fine. But I found it really curious that they would reinforce the 2 bathroom walls down below, I'd assume for an Oryx, so the Oryx can come and go between Armory and bathroom freely, but then you'd reinforce the hatch, because ideally you'd want the Oryx to come up that hatch late round if it was a triple push, if it was an office push. You can backstab people really efficiently doing that. So we'll see how this plays out. It's not the choice I would have made, but we'll see. So nothing really happening. So the first piece of action starts here. Excuse me. 2 minutes 5, so we've had 55 seconds of droning and intel gathering. I don't think any map control has been taken by DZ. Maybe a little bit to East S, but right now, very slow start. Very slow start. So there is how many drones active right now? There's like 7, 6, maybe like 8-ish drones active according to the UI. So that's a lot. Ooh, that's unlucky timing. Turn the music down just a tad. So DZ have the Nook, and she's currently just kind of AFKing here. She has Hell Presence available. I'm assuming the only reason why Pambazoo is sat here doing nothing is because he's waiting for some kind of like 3, 2, 1 go from the team, and the whole team's going to make a play as in unison. But realistically, at this point, we've gone down another 40 seconds. How long has he been in here, for curiosity's sake? So he's got to that position at 140. He's going to sit here for 20 seconds. Essentially 20 seconds. He's still there. So now we're moving towards 25 seconds. Mirror window's open. That's fine. He's still stood there. He's still stood there. So at this point, the only thing that I have to say is Pambazoo is the flank holder. I'm going to flank hold with Nook instead. That's fine. I just think Nook is probably worth its weight in gold for Roma hunting than kind of just sitting there. And he still dies. Okay, so he actually starts pushing here. He pushed 45 seconds after he got to the location. Realistically, I think at this point in time, Pambazoo should probably take the reins and ask someone to give him some drones, or at least some like basic droning, just to double check what's going on down below, because they've double reinforced off bathroom Soniqs. And he's obviously got on the sound call or an audio call or a teammate just saying that, hey, there's a guy down here, there's a Mozzie down here, or whatever. So it's safe to assume that someone is in server workshop, or maybe they'd rotated to customs. I'm not quite sure what's going on towards main door, so they probably could have rotated to customs too. But I think being very swift and decisive at the start of the round with this this Nook probably could have gotten them the kill onto Citizen. As we saw, Citizen had some pretty poor timing, just sheer luck. You know, he shoots the drone as Pambazoo is pushing forwards, but that actually spooks Pambazoo to stop pushing by the seams of it. So now the actual push is coming from Armory, which now makes me question even more. Pambazoo was definitely not flank holding these stairs at that point. He was just trying to bait and wait. Maybe get a guy running into him. Still, I think that defeats the purpose of Nook. I think Nook needs to be a little bit more aggressive at the start of the round and use the cameras against the defenders, like walk up through blue into workshop and then maybe kill Citizen that way. But yeah, the push on Armory with Osa is fine. Right now, all Soniqs has to do is nothing. They just have to wait. So let's go back and talk about this a little bit more, because I think this is prevalent to having information or not having enough information. All you need is a guy chilling on the B bomb, listening out for the diffuser going down, for the tippity taps of the case. Realistically, like, the Soniqs don't need to peek, they don't need to push. All Soniqs have to do is hold for a potential DZ push, whether they're going deep to the half wall to plant behind the locker, or whether they want to plant on an Osa shield. Right now, the win factor for DZ hasn't been fully established. DZ are in a 3 versus 5. You have accounted for 2 of the 3 of them. You've accounted for 2 of the 3 of them. You know where Osa is. You know where Ace is. Buck is somewhere. He's either flanking you or flank holding. So that's a safe assumption immediately. All Soniqs have to do is wait. At what point in these last 40 seconds, there's a question for chat, do DZ threaten plant? They don't. It's different for every bomb site, but in that situation there, the plant threaten is tippity tapping on the case. But even then, it's so open to be like flanked, pushed, peeked. Like Osa shields are like garbage mirror windows essentially. Osa isn't even set up inside set. Yeah. He's still extremely vulnerable from box. And based on the Ace's position there, Ace is holding a pixel from where I'm circling my cursor here, all the way through a line like this. And the Osa shield is set up here in a way that you could actually just sprint through this door and just shoot Osa if the plant had ever actually happened. General question, how long attacking round should be droning and gathering intel versus pushing, taking map control, doing objectives in your opinion? Well, that is like a question full of asterisks, and the answer is full of asterisks. It all depends on your team's goal. If you're a team that likes to do front pushes, direct pushes, and straight to sites, then that round is, the checklist of things to do is much shorter than if you're a team that likes to hunt for picks, take map control away from the defenders, squish the defenders, put pressure on them, force them to move, and then go for a plan if it's safe. If you're the type of team that goes straight for sight, realistically, a lot of the time you just have to make sure there's no utility facing you. And that is basically just 30 seconds to get there safely, 30 seconds to drone out, 30 seconds to destroy it all. And you should have, and ideally if you're doing a front to sight, you should be good to go with a minute left on the clock. 30 seconds of wiggle room in case something goes wrong. Where if you're a team that's like Roma hunting, then you got to be on the ball. You got to be fast. You got to have complete control of your drone economy. You have to have hot drones out the fucking wazoo. Like if you're doing a Roma hunt, then you need like Nook with a hot drone type shit. And the hot drone, like you could like put a pseudo hot drone in. So for example, we had that situation before where you have Pambazu sat here on the teller's door to the hallway, and you have Citizen literally here, and then he rotates through and sits on server rack. You could have your drone, even if this camera is on underneath where Citizen's icon is, you can have the drone go into the rotate and you could have your Nook go through the door here. Because Citizen will get the call. There's a drone coming from the bathroom, rotate. So as he comes out here to swing, or even behind the desk to swing, it would give Pambazu a chance to shoot him. Equally, if they were going to really double dip onto that Roma hunting, I'd probably have Buck on the vents window, and then another guy on main door, or another guy entering into customs if that's available. It is, if you break the round down into the time it takes to kill a Roma, you can happily rotate all five attackers to hunt one Roma. If your opponent has like 2 or 3 Romas, it doesn't matter. You can happily spend 30 seconds droning, talking, and pushing for every single defender. 30 seconds, and you will still have 30 seconds over at the end of the round. Because you've got 3 minutes, essentially. You've got 3 minutes, which is 6 lots of 30 seconds. So if you are efficient and you are decisive, you have 30 seconds to kill that Roma, which is more than enough time if you know what you're doing. Oh, and that's why I always say, like, if you ever like you're setting up on site as an attacker, you're setting up around the site, and you get like a drone spots like a person in fucking tellers, and you're all in like, you're either all in office or you're all in CCTV doing an office push or an armory push, doesn't matter. You see the guy in fucking tellers, leave one guy to hold whatever you're doing and rotate all 4 to go kill him. 30 seconds, like, even if you have a minute on the clock, 30 seconds is worth killing that guy. Man advantage in Siege is one of the strongest things to take advantage of. Because if you play for trades, and you play as a team, as in you do things together, you push together, you time things together, the other team can't win. In theory, in perfect world, in perfect Siege, the other team can't win if you are the ones to initiate the trades. Soniqs really like the mirror. They're bringing it for vents as well. That's fine. I want to say this is a really good drone. Steal it for your games. This is the kind of drone that you can't see even when you're crouched. You have to be prone to see it. And considering most people in this game have an allergy to hitting the prone button, yeah, these types of drones work really well. There's another one you can do on Clubhouse Cache. There's a table up against the wall, and there's a chair with a box on it. You can jump onto the side of the box, and that's another one where they can't see the drone even if they go crouch. They have to go prone. So this is a Roma hunt. So the question is, at what point do they become aware of his location? I'm going to do a bit of skipping here. So here is where they become aware of him mainly. I assume he's made some kind of play on jail. And that's the reason why they're making some noise towards here. Yeah, okay. So the floor gets bucked. Okay, so it's not really a Roma hunt. It's more of like, oh, hey, Buck, there's a guy below you. Just buck through the floor and shoot him. That's fine. Nothing too crazy to talk about there. That's just good bucking from Achieved. Alright, okay. So, let's do some analysis. Let's talk about deduction. Now, excuse me, deduction is one of the most powerful things the defender can do. You can basically figure out exactly where every single, or nearly every single attacker is, based upon what you don't know. So from our defender's point of view, Citizen died to a guy inside of CCTV. And not only did he die to a guy inside of CCTV, he also gave up control when he died of customs. So now we know, one for certain, CCTV is occupied. We also know there's a high chance that they could take control of customs underneath it. We know, based upon positioning here, this player here, which I think is Rexon on Frost, I can't quite tell from above, that office is fine, the hatch is open, so it's safe to say bathroom is fine based upon the players here. Vents is fine for now, but Gunner's info has also given them that they're opening the wall on Armory. So, using our powers of deduction that they're not coming to office, they've contested CCTV, and they're opening the Armory wall, where is the plant going to happen, Twitch chat? In the next 1 minute, 60 seconds, where is the plant going to happen? Vents, yeah. The only time you'd ever open the Armory wall in this type of situation is to contest half wall, so you can plant vents. Now, you could always have things like this, for example. Gavini here, Nook here underneath. These are like completely fucking normal. But if you're investing a ton of utility into this, then you need to start thinking as a defender, this is where they're going to finish. This is where their last step will be. It's important to not lose sight of the steps that come between that last thing, as in, where is everyone else? I thought that was really risky when I saw that live. And this is a good thing, by the way, from what Soniqs have done here, for now at least, is that even though things are happening on the other sides of the map, if you are in charge of holding down a position, a flank, a key room, something important, you have to trust your teammates to do their job on their side of things, i.e. holding the Armory breach, holding the Armory push in, holding the vents push for now. And you need to continue to hold the flanks or hold the back, at least whilst you have 4v4, or at the time it was a 4v5, you still have to trust your teammates. So that was good. Rexon did a good job here. Geo gets achieved, that's a-okay. I would love to have seen where achieved was when he died. Oh, it's right there on the door. Yo, Jess, thank you very much for the raid. 129 raiders. Welcome, everybody. We're in the middle of analyzing Dark Zero versus Soniqs. We've been live for like 45 minutes and we've done 1.5 rounds. Welcome. I don't have a sound effect for a raid, but I hope it popped up on the stream. So we can see essentially what DZ have pivoted to. So they set up essentially the final step of what their execution would be. Thank you, I need more Manasai. So DZ essentially have set up what their last step will be. And the previous steps to that they're now filling in the blanks for is they're pinching top floor. So we saw it first with Gavini pushing long into office. Now we see it with NJR pushing into archives from the balcony. And we still have Pambazoo on the slowest Nook I've ever seen in my life, inside a passport from below. So Gunner's in a really strong position here. Anyone that drops out of CCTV, he's gonna grab them. That's fine. The big thing here is breaching charges are the only thing that DZ have to open up the floor. So Canadian's gonna have to put some really good breaching charges down. I think before Achieve died, he managed to make a few holes in the floor. And I also think Soniqs had their own holes in the floor around the bomb as well. So that's going to help them. Hello, Hubs. Long time no see. That's unfortunate. Again, I'm going to say Pambazu is probably the slowest Nook I've ever seen in my life, but he still manages to pick off Gunner. I still stand by thinking Gunner's position there was really good. I think the only downside for Gunner standing here is that if you remember at the start of the round, there's a drone, like you see he's been yellow pinged. There's actually a drone under this desk behind where Grix's player card is on the inside of customs. And as I said before, it's a special drone because you can't see it when you're crouched. You have to go prone to see it. And for all the new Jess Raiders, as I said before, a lot of people are allergic to going prone in professional play. So it's a drone that'll sit there pretty much forever. So 15 seconds left, 3 versus 2. Plant's going to go down soon on the position that they'd already opened up everything for. They've already prepped for it. It's going to go down in vents. Now, the big thing here is Rexon's gamble. So, Rexon has 2 choices. He goes down main stairs or he pushes armory and uses the holes above. Both of those have this slight caveat that he will have to take a firefight, in theory, regardless of whichever choices he makes. If he pushes down the main stairs, he might have to contest with someone on main door. And if he pushes into armory, he might have to contest someone holding armory. Now, he chooses the right choice. It's literally a coin flip. Where is the holder going to be? The holder's downstairs, so we have above control. So now all Rexon has to do is figure out where the plant is coming from. That's good. That's unlucky. So yeah, DZ identified that they didn't have anyone upstairs. Rexon chose right, but he just got unlucky. It's good that NGR realized very quickly the gap that DZ had left open, because you can actually see him start sprinting like here. Like he's already sprinting up at this point. So he knew immediately that he needed to get upstairs. So that was very good from DZ, or at least from NGR. It could easily be 2-0 Soniqs here. Yes, it could be. Skip forward a little bit, and now we go to Bathroom Tellers. This is a really good bomb site. It's come into play quite a lot in the past couple of years, and I think the change to Bathroom was really fucking good that they did. This little island they added, they extended the room a little bit more. So interesting things we have. Echo. I want to see how they use this Echo more than anything else. There are some cheeky things you can do with Echo. Go see my meepeY shorts for that one. But realistically, the only reason, fuck me, my English. The only reason you'd run Echo here is to try and deny maybe a rush plant, or you'd just leave them in Bathroom, or you're going to use them as Valkyrie cameras. But we essentially have a very heavy information-based lineup for Soniqs, Valkyrie, and Echo. And even Alibi is info gathering, depending on where you put them. If you put them on windows, a lot of the times when players shoot down the window, shoot down the barricade, they shoot immediately into the clone, giving the position away. Extremely common drone. So, interesting tidbit is that when I was doing prep for Dark Zero for SI, this drone was here so fucking much. And it's still here later on down the line. I just found that quite interesting. Thank you for all the follows, by the way, guys. Welcome, Raiders, welcome. I highly recommend you get yourself a snack and a drink, because the last VOD review I did was 4 hours long. It's really slow. So this is standard Dark Zero. Very slow, very information heavy, very much into the droning. Not so much hot droning, more just information gathering and then hiding drones later on if they can. Like this drone for here, example, sees citizen clear as day. He sees the drone. That's another pet peeve. If you're on a drone, you'd be surprised at the amount of noise a drone makes just by moving your cursor. Every single time the drone has an animation change, it plays that really loud, like as the wheels turn, and it is very obvious. So if you're ever on a drone and it's your drone, don't wiggle your mouse because you will cause the drone to move. Like here, wiggle, sees the drone, shoots it. So be very careful with your drones. Treat drones like an important piece of utility because that's exactly what they are. Are there any places where you can use Echo Strats? So yes, you can actually use it. If I can actually get the angle for it. Come on, keep going left, no. Here, you can use it on this drone hole here. You can drive out of the drone hole and jump up and see if anyone's on the balcony up here without having to do a run out. And if the angle is right, I've not done it in a while. If the angle is right, you can also see through the CCTV window into CCTV. But that's about it, really. Yeah, that's about it. Echo's unfortunately not that good on border. He was really good at the time when you could throw the invulnerable Echo drone, just above where my cursor is here. Inside Armory, you have like the half wall with all the lockers, and you have like the bags and stuff. An Echo drone behind one of these bags was bulletproof, and you could just sit it up there and just keep jumping it up, stunning someone, because the half wall has another wall that comes down from the ceiling, and the Echo drone would sit above that wall, and it could see someone planting on the door, but anyone outside of the breach couldn't see the Echo drone. You'd actually have to push in and shoot the drone. But they got rid of that bulletproof bag, I think, or they made it not bulletproof, so you can shoot it now with an IQ or just gunning it down. Upstairs, there's also try and rewind it and get a view of upstairs. There's you can't see it, but essentially there's a long string of like vents that go all the way across the upstairs. But there's a string here that you can actually put your Echo drone on top of as well. In Armory, here, this vent case here. There's actually a little drone hole here on this vent thing, so you can drive your drone back and forth on this for information. That's about it when it comes to Echo drones on border. It's very niche, but very powerful. So 2 minutes off the clock, more or less, and nothing's really happened. Customs control is pretty much about all DZ has, and the balcony's outside. There we go. Guild Wars 2. Maybe later, mate. Maybe later. We'll see. But for now, let's talk about this. So, Canadian gets the opening kill. Pambazoo's traded off for 1-for-1. As we saw earlier, I want to try and stop it at the right time just before here. You can see that like Pambazoo is Pambazoo's on the main stairs here, and he has to contest with Citizen. Citizen, as you all know, is a very mobile player, very aggressive. He's probably found Pambazoo just by accident. He's probably more than anything been given a call that there's a player in customs. He probably more likely saw that Gavini's in here on a Valkyrie camera. He's probably been spotted. Citizen goes to the flank and he probably just happens to catch Pambazoo. That's just sheer bad place, wrong time. That's fine. I will say Rexon's position really is like a loose end. I don't think Rexon is in a very good position here at all. He has no support from Eastes. I would say Rexon's position here is super strong if Soniqs were actually doing an Eastes hold. You can do Eastes hold with shields, zombie barricades, Wamai discs, the whole 9 yards. And one of the big things with Border is keeping control of Easters, these days at least. Border was one of Koi's best and most favorite maps. And we found that the vast majority of attacks have to start at Easters, or naturally start at Easters, even if they don't have to. And you can stun lock a player just by holding Easters and making it impossible to take. Inaction is probably the biggest defense on attack, and you can just, like I said, stun lock people on Easters for some reason just by holding it. But Easters is free. Canadian pushes down, catches out the loose end of Rexon. He's likely on a drone, but who the fuck knows? Oh, there goes the Echo drone. Standard flank on long and short. Flank drone under the camera. That's normal. Excuse me. That's a really good angle. I think things are starting to crumble now for DZ, and I'll go back and talk about it in just a second. I want to just witness this, yeah, because no one's here to help with the Echo drone, and then the cover's there. Nice shot. NT. So I think everything kind of falls apart for DZ around like here, where Pambazu dies. DZ put a lot of their eggs in the Rexon is dead basket. A lot of teams, at least for Teller's take, hello Rando Sander, they want to open this single wall here, the Canadians ping, number 3. And they want to plant either on the half desk here or against the filing cabinet structure. It's really common, it's really normal, but I will tell you right now that if you do not have the appropriate pressure upstairs, it's just not going to happen. The entire DZ lineup kind of skipped an important step, which is getting triple wall open upstairs, which you can see like when Canadian pushes down. Going back a little bit, I went a bit too far, but here there's no Buck, there's no Buck, sorry, Buck is not here, excuse me, and there's no like ranged breach like Zofia or Ash, so you end up with this soft wall with a bunch of kill holes in it that the defenders have purposely designed, so they already have the advantage because they know where to look. And if you don't have that proper office control, if you haven't made that play for office, then you've not put your team in enough positions to get kills, to get frags. And if you're not getting those frags, it becomes a point where the map is too big to hold everything on attack. If you don't whittle down the man count, it leads to the defenders being able to easily flank CCTV, to easily flank customs, to sit inside of workshop unmolested, to push through mid and blue, to retake this waiting room here. You can impact through customs into passport, that completely ruins everything. You can hold long lines of sight. I mean, long lines of sight from vents all the way through into this default plant spot. Because DZ skip a step of taking map control away from SQ, from giving themselves opportunities to get more picks, more frags, you lead yourself into a position where you have one guy on catwalk alone, one guy on the balcony out here, technically alone. I guess there's a little bit of rotation potential here. Let it play out a little bit more. Like, I get it. I do. I really do get it from DZ. I'll pause it at a key moment in just 1 second. Right here. So you have, like, your buck here. My question is, like, this wall should be booked open. more than anything, this wall should be bucked open to put more pressure to cut off the entirety of that room. It should have been done much sooner. It's only just getting done now, as you can hear in the background. But there's the first push. It's a freebie. 15 seconds. No customs pressure. No real CCTV pressure. You only have one guy outside of triple, and the kill holes are all crouch high or lower or prone high, meaning that NGR can't actually put any pressure on the breach. Can't put any pressure on the players upstairs. And he's actually pushed and dies. So now it's a 2 versus 4. Customs is being flanked as we speak, which is there. And finally, it's a 1 versus 4. It's a really good kill from Gavini to get the first one with a nice flick, but yeah. It's all about taking decisive map control, so you're putting your subs in more positions to get picks sooner. Tellers isn't a bomb site that you can really front. Unless you're doing a rush through the window, like a slow Eastern passport play doesn't work very well. You have to leave a player in customs, you have to leave a player inside of break room or waiting room upstairs to buck open the wall and face towards office. You have to leave a player outside of triple, and then you have 2 players, one either pushing from passport and one pushing down these stairs or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, like, if you're not pressuring any of the guys realistically in workshop or in office or even on the flanks, it's just really easy for the defenders to just walk in and contest things, especially with an echo drone. Ah, itchy nose. Yeah. Interesting bandit placement. So this bandit trick, or this bandit placement rather, relies very heavily on retaining east control. This could literally just be a short stop on the attackers, as in you have to enter east stairs, you have to shoot this before you can ace open this wall, which is fine. That's going to probably burn 15 seconds of time from the hard breacher's perspective, which is fine. Question though, theoretically, if there was a team comprised of Fabian, Pojaman, meepeY, BC, and Julio, who would call the timeouts? It'd be Shaz stood behind us. Another Osa. I'd say this is a paper strat, as in, you know, they've practiced this, they've run this quite a lot. Because this is the second time they're bringing Osa for an armory take. Hey, what PK doing, man? Pretty much the same setup from Soniqs as well. It seems like DZ have brought a similar-ish lineup. I think the Osa is the cornerstone of what they're trying to play. And Soniqs are playing the same strat. It worked, so. It worked. They just threw, but yeah. I don't like this mirror window. You can sit all the way back. I mean, all the way back inside of... You can sit all the way back inside of half wall. And you can sit there with a 1.5 or a 2x, depending on what operator. And actually hold this aggressively. And that actually exerts more pressure on this hallway than the mirror window does. The mirror window here puts pressure on customs and CCTV, which is why I assume it's here mainly for, hence why there's feet holes here. But equally, I would say that these feet holes are counterproductive just based upon the mirror window. If you want to put these holes here and you want to put this mirror window here, you actually have to put the holes like a little bit higher. Main reason why is so that your mirror can actually contest the room efficiently, and that they're not blind firing through a wall with a vector. The vector's body shot damage when penning a wall is garbage. Because of the change to border, there is no repel spot here on the right anymore, so you can actually leave this wall soft. You can put rotates here, kill holes here, the end of the day, they actually have to push this hallway to contest these holes you've made.
If you really have to fall back, you can fall back to 90 and hopefully get safe passage into the site. Geo will rotate out decently quick, a minute into the round. We'll see what Dark Zero end up doing, because instead of the previous attempt at Armory, it appears that this time they are going for that East Stairs take and not trying to push things on the Armory.
So, I want to see how they do this East take. Hey.
Ups. My sub was gone, feels bad, man.
Why is that so loud? I turned that down before. Ah, my ears. Warpick, thank you very much for the 69 months. Nice. Now, I don't remember if this is Rexon remembering from the time that I was his coach, but I do remember mentioning that the best place for a frost trap is never under the window directly. It's always slightly to the left or the right. You have to imagine underneath your character, essentially like an oval of influence. Your character will interact with any floor-based gadget that touches that oval. When you jump through a window, that oval is fixed, locked, until your feet touch the floor. Meaning you don't actually have to put the frost trap directly under the window. When most players jump in the window, they aim straight down and start hip firing and ADSing at the same time, meaning that the first 3 or 4 bullets they shoot have the RNG factor of hip fire. Meaning if you are lucky as a defender, the bullets can miss the frost trap, causing them to get trapped. Gain gone for this reinforced hatch again. That is interesting. So we go for the impact EMP into a low ace charge. So the low ace charge is blocked by this desk, so it can't be shot from fountain. Now, my big head scratch is Gunner's choice. So Gunner has chosen to do an aggressive move. He has chosen the aggressive path and is now prone behind this desk. I assume he's going to hold an angle to east stairs. And this is a huge risk. He has given up suicide position. Now, the reason why it's called suicide is because you used to just be able to... You still can nade it from the skylight above. You can rain hellfire down into this position with grenades. But the only nades exist on Pambazoo, and he's downstairs right now. I digress. I would personally put more stock in holding office triple for longer and then proning up later than doing this play now. But we'll see. The big thing he has to contest with right now, Gunner, is whether or not he's being droned. If he is not droned, he will get a kill. If he is droned, he is a free kill. He is a free kill. But essentially what we've got here is DZ are doing an office take. They specifically brought Habana to open up this back wall of A. When this wall is open, it actually gives Habana a long line of sight all the way through the bomb site. It cuts the bomb site straight in half. And with the ace and the low ace and the impact EMP, that also gets the suicide wall open as well. The only thing left to contest now is this mirror window. And because of these kill holes here, it means that Rexon can't confidently sit on this mirror window flush against the wall for the whole time. He's actually going to have to take a step back. The reason why this can be a pain in the ass sometimes for the fountain player is that if anyone jumps in from the window and then potentially pushes close to this breach, it's probably not going to happen, but you never know. He's now in line of sight, so that he can no longer realistically contest anyone crouching in from long, pushing under his window, and he probably won't have the greatest of angles to the triple breach over here. It's open for someone jumping in the window and just wide swinging him, because when you jump in this window and immediately wide swing, you're safe from pretty much all of Armory. And of course, these kill holes underneath give Pambazoo an opportunity to shoot him, and you can even rotate your buck down below and buck open this entire section here to achieve the same thing. In fact, that's actually a really good way of of dismantling, excuse me, this mirror window position without actually using any utility is to just come down here with 2 players, a buck and a gun. You ping where you're bucking, you buck the floor from one side to the next as one guy covers whilst you do it. You can then also coordinate a 3-2-1 and push the breach at the same time. That also works too. These are the type of things that Siege has advanced to. It's no longer about EMPing the wall, then opening the wall every single time with this mirror window. Players and teams are getting more and more creative with the way that they do things, specifically with guns and not gadgets. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Dark Zero been able to win back from this man count. We have yet to see Soniqs do the same. Geo does still hold control of CCTV and can maybe acquire some long angles onto East Stairs where Dark Zero are playing from. Rexon has a similar story as somebody, I believe that's Gavini, flirting with death as he peeks that East Stairs wall.
Do you think Kid's window on Oregon? Ooh, what a nade. Kid's window on Oregon would be as powerful as Chalet Master window. If the tower door had a line of sight to kitchen, hallway, and kitchen door. To the hallway and kitchen door. Potentially. I'd have to think about that some more, because that's lining up and stuff. Man, Rexon is dancing with death right here. Yeah, his window is gone, by the way. So Rexon's actually managed to sneak himself into a good position here. He gets Pambazoo, which is good. I think he'll keep Gavini locked in, depending on whether or not he wants to peek. If you didn't catch it there, Canadian's now on the balcony door. And the plant's going down. Ooh. Alright. So this was really good from DZ. Just identifying win condition here. It's a 5v2 and 40 seconds left on the clock. The only thing I'd probably slap Dark Zero on the wrist for doing here is this push from Pambazoo. Right there. Realistically, to win this round, all they have to do is stop Canadian from being shot. Now, Canadian's behind his shield, which means that to be shot, he has to be pushed up on real close. Grixer also has a nitro. That's also a win condition here. So the big one is sound more than anything. If Grixer does not hear Canadian plant, which it's Siege, he probably won't hear Canadian plant, DZ get a free round win anyway. But to double up on this, I think NGR tries to trade Canadian's position, which he does. Even though he dies, it still secures the diffuser down in a 3v1. Now, I want to say this right here, right now. In no situation should a team ever lose a 3v1. In a perfect game, perfect Siege, teams shouldn't lose 3v1s. As a defender, as a clutcher, you always have to try and identify loose ends, weak points, and abuse speed. That's the last one is the key part that people forget is speed. People go way too slow on their clutches, being way too safe. At the end of the day, you have to have the mindset like, I'm not supposed to win this, so I just need to play my heart out for the next 30 or 40 seconds. And playing slow and burning the clock down as a clutcher doesn't work. Does not work. You have to play fast, you have to play aggressive, you have to get in people's faces and identify where you can get those 1v1s. And Grixer does that really well right here. Because he knows he's being held from short. He doesn't know where the hold is coming from. It could be being held from the long side of short, main stairs. It could be a guy in Fountain holding this hole. It could be a guy all the way inside of break room holding the angle. It could be a guy inside of not customs CCTV holding the angle. But instead, he gets a really nice flick there. This is the point now where it becomes a little bit more complicated for Grixer because he doesn't realistically know where the remaining two players are, especially if Canadian rotates to here. GG. So that was really good. DZ essentially set themselves up here in an unlosable position. So, yeah. no chance Grixis wins that after those two establish their positions, and that's why going fast is really, really important. If you go quick enough, you can actually start catching out the attackers as they're rotating to their final positions, is what I call them, which is where they want to hold the diffuser from. Some teams are really good at setting up crossfires for the final positions, and the vast majority of teams in professional play are actually garbage, frankly. And a lot of VOD reviewing that I've done in the past, and a lot of reviewing final positions for counter clutch, for like 1v3s and things like that. A lot of teams are really, really suffering from bad positioning. And I'll go on record and say Koi was one of those teams. It was one thing that we were practicing quite fucking heavily. But even then, it is still hard to drill into players' heads, like the proper positioning for counter clutch. It requires communication, coordination, and even a little bit of dry running. This is something that you can definitely theory craft and set in a custom game and say, if we plant here, then these positions are important, but these two are the most important, then this one, then this one, then this one. And then, yeah, people can say like, oh, I'm going to position 1, I'm going to position 2, whatever. That is something you can do as a team. But I think the league as a whole has a pretty poor time with counter clutching, which is the reason why we see so many crazy plays, or things that just shouldn't happen. Shepard from VP is a god at post plant positioning. There's a few players that are really, really good at it. Just like there's a few players that are really, really good at clutching. Oh no, 1 hour 20 minutes in, we're on round 5, boys, let's go! Let's go! We're on track for another 4-hour VOD. Oh. Soniqs really living mirror still. You think Benj is one of those players that are good at clutching? Yeah, Benj is a good clutcher. Could have chosen one of those 7-0 games into VOD instead. I will probably do that next. Give myself a... Has Latam had any 7-0s yet? I need to double check. I've not been following it as closely as EU and NA. I mentioned this in my last video, but I'll mention it in this one as well. Clutch drone, what an awful name first, but secondly, the most use that you'll ever get out of a clutch drone, at least in professional play, is hacking information. Valkyrie cameras, deployable cameras, default cameras. Then you might be able to get some use out of other things like Melusi Banshees and things of that nature. But the clutch drone, in my opinion, is just a better Twitch drone. I like your meepeY nose shorts. I've learned a thing or two from them. Well, I'm glad I've learned a thing or two from them. Forgotten Chav. What a name. Liquid 7-1 nip. Alright, I guess that's what we're looking at next time. Thank you, Deck. So I like this drone. This drone's good, but it's Pambazu's falling for the common, I'm on a drone, therefore I must wiggle my mouse. I said this before, I'll say it again. If you're on a drone that you own and you wiggle your mouse, the drone will actually spin its wheels, making that really loud wah, wah, wah noise when it moves. Hence why a lot of drones that are hidden actually get found. Like there he's like wiggling his drone more and more watching this mute. Like he doesn't need to watch this drone. Like he doesn't need to keep wiggling like that. He could just keep it here and just use his eyes to track the player, not the middle of the screen. That's like some FPS inbuilt bad habit stuff, and so many players have it. You can see that he's like kind of tracking the mute with his drone. You don't need to do that. Just use your eyes. Keep your drone alive. Oh my god, Pambazu. There we go. And I respect the play to get out of there quickly as well. One of the criticisms I've had in these previous rounds with Pambazu is he's probably the slowest Nook that I've ever seen play. But his movement there to catch that mute off guard is really good. He had the mute on the drone. He saw the mute leave server towards main stairs. He takes his opportunity. He takes a risk. He makes a play. He wins it. That's a good play. And just getting out is the chef's kiss. Like, he has no reason to be inside of the room any longer. This is like a semi-first watch. I've watched some of the rounds. Like I said, I like to edit my videos at the same time that I'm watching streams and stuff. Monday through Thursday, I watch both EU play days and both NA play days, and then I edit my shorts whilst I'm also watching. So there's times where I just stop watching to focus on editing, so I've seen some of these rounds, but not all of them. I like in the dock, a very underrated operator. So, let's pause. This is a really good overview. I think we can see nearly everyone. I think we're just missing one person from DZ in this overview. Which is Panbazoo. Last seen main door. Don't know what the fuck he is now. So let's just take stock of what's going on. So we've lost Mute. Mute was a site player. Mute was an important site player. We've got one player upstairs. I'm going to say two players upstairs. I'm going to assume this player's upstairs and Citizen is down below. So it's a 3-1 split for events plant. Excuse me, just based upon where everyone is set up here as the attack. It's going to be events plant, and we talked about the powers of deduction on an earlier round. As the players upstairs, you'll know whether or not the armory wall is open, and when you're doing a vents defense, the armory wall open is like the first tell that the execution is planned at that moment in time for vents. Another big one is whether or not they are contesting triple wall from east stairs. If they're contesting triple wall from east stairs aggressively with hard breach with utility operators, and it's not just like a Yana, a Nook, whatever, then you can also start to deduce, oh, maybe it's not an armory take. Maybe instead it's an office take, and they just want armory open for pressure. But seeing as we're not getting any action around this side of the map, seeing as this player right here, I can't quite tell who it is by the silhouette. I can tell that's Mira, that's Valk, that's Frost, so no, that's Doc, that must be Frost. We can see that Rexon's probably not getting any action here. He can easily call out, I'm not getting any action here. The other one is Mira here. Whether or not she's hearing anything happen from this balcony here, maybe a big tell, because we know that NGR is here. NGR has come to this balcony many rounds in a row, and the last time that Dark Zero did a vents push, NGR did push in from this doorway to try and get as many picks as he can. And finally, we have the Doc here looking down what seems to be a kill hole. Maybe trying to find drones, trying to stop people pushing in. And Citizen is in Narnia, let's be real. He's in bathroom. He is out of the fight. He's not getting any info from here other than they're not pushing tellers. So, deduction alone, Soniqs has enough to reasonably deduce it's going to be a vents plant. There we go. Now we see everyone. One thing that you can do as an extra line of information is on this hatch, there's an angle from this side of the hatch to the teller's window. I highly recommend that your team makes that angle. It does help with sound propagation in terms of someone knocking down the teller's window or jumping in. If you have a player that has like really good sound, like holy shit, how does this guy hear things level sound, then you can put that player in suicide and they can sometimes hear that jump in. It's quite important and useful. But again, deduction. No one in this entire L shape of the map on the defensive side knows anything right now. And I said it in my last video, I'll say it here, is that when nothing is happening on the defense, something is happening on the attack. You just don't know it. They're setting up something, they're putting drones in positions, they're getting ready. Panbazoo, power position, immediately takes control of customs. He has a poorly placed flank drone here. This could be placed 10 times better, but it'll do for now.
Dark Zero might have what they need to push in through main door and go to vents as long as they have the angles. With Panbazoo watching the flank, this could be round 5 for Dark Zero. Their drones have already been able to penetrate deep into the
Rexen grabs one. So Pambazu went too deep. This is like the Pambazu did nothing wrong situation here. So Pambazu walks into sight from blue, from mid, and he finds literally fucking no one, which is a head scratcher because Soniqs are in bathroom and waiting, and Pambazu gets shot in the back, which essentially guarantees a free plant on vents. But yeah, Pambazu did nothing wrong there. He expected to find someone probably on server rack or on the server vault. Didn't get anyone. That's unlucky. But now we're in a 4v4. When you're on defense, you are actually playing a 6v5. This game right now is Citizen, Geo, Gunner, Grixer, Rexen, and the timer versus Dark Zero. But when you plant, that timer changes teams. And when that timer ticks down, every second is worth more. It's worth more pressure. It's worth more. If there was a win score, every time that second ticks down, whoever's team that timer is on gains more win score. They're going to win the round more. Especially in a 4 versus 4, especially in a god-awful position to plant like that for the defense. It's a good place to attack, to plant for as an attacker, excuse me. But on defense, that is the nightmare situation right now. You have an empty site, you have no flanks secured, you have nothing going on your flanking pushes, you have no utility on site, you have no idea where the attackers are. This is the nightmare situation for Soniqs. Okay. Yeah. I remember this. I remember this. What's he doing? Okay. Now we've all seen the super clip, but let's talk about this from an analytical, not a statistical point of view. So let's rewind it to here-ish, here. Okay. Let's talk. So, firstly, I'd say NJR is a loose thread. He is a 1v1 for a defender. Achieved gets nitroed by Citizen. Where the fuck was Achieved? Okay, here. Okay, so I get it now. I get it. Okay, so Achieved is flank holding in break. Yeah, thank you, Keratic. Yeah, I saw the nitro there. So Achieved is flank holding in break. This is a Valkyrie camera. That's a nitro. That's a loose thread. NGR off on the Archives balcony. That's a loose thread. So immediately, defense has the opportunity, just the opportunity to get 2 1v1s. A nitro is a very unfair 1v1, but there we go. Then we have another loose thread, Gavini, in a 1v1. NJR moves to the bus. He's still peeking. He's still aggressively holding an angle. That's a loose thread. That's a 1v1. Citizen upstairs versus Gavini. He has to be upstairs, Gavini. He has to be here. He has to hold this position. If he's not holding this position, then, yeah, they can defuse it a little bit easier. But the defuse is actually going to happen here. Canadian is forced to push because Gavini can't. That's a 1v1. And this is just, can't find him. So it's like 3 or 4 1v1s Soniqs get in a row. In a perfect world, DZ don't lose that. If we rotate back to this position here, I like NGR on the bus. It's a great angle straight through to the door. I like it. But you know what I would have liked more? Canadian on the side of the window with him. Because of the lineup there, if both NGR and Canadian peak together at the same time, you'll have something of what I call a totem. It's like a totem pole. They're stacked on top of each other. And no matter which player Rexon fights here, in this position here, he's going to peek at NGR on the bus. No matter which player he fights, the other kills him. So you have one player stood here, one player stood here, and if Rexon peeks and shoots NGR, then Canadian gets the kill. And again, I think achieved upstairs in break. It's a loose end, but someone has to be on the flank, so I can't really fault that too hard. I'd say maybe sit outside on the balcony, if you can, if possible. If not, understandable. And like I said, Gavini has to be on the breach upstairs. Someone has to sit there. Someone has to be there. But yeah. But yeah, we've all seen the super clip. We've all had a good chuckle. But if you just keep giving the opposing team 1v1s, like, you don't, in the game, you don't think it'll happen. You don't think you'll get ego swing and shot and die. You don't think you'll get randomly nitro from below because you're on a Valkyrie camera. You don't think that these things could or can happen. But the problem is when they do. And it's all about giving the defense the opportunity, the chance of winning the round. That if I take a 20-sided dice and I roll it, I have just as much of a chance of rolling a 20 as I do a 1. It has every chance to go great or dog shit. But if I get that dice and I cheat and I scrub out the 1, I remove that chance of the worst case scenario just by putting myself in a better position, a more coordinated position with a teammate, or ultimately give myself drone information and hide around a corner. I remove that 1% chance. I remove the tiniest opportunity for the defense to clutch it. And a lot of players, they don't get it. They don't realize it. And they don't practice it. They don't push for it. They don't even think about it. It just happens. And when it happens to them, they look bad. They're not bad players, but in this instance, they just look bad. It's the type of thing that you have to actually sit your team down and talk about it and beg and plead with them to do better. This should not happen. It's a little bit mean of me to go hard on it like this, but when we look at the man count as the round progresses, it's 4v4 plant down. As you go, it's a 3v3 to a 3v2 to a 2v2 to a 1v2 to a loss. There were no trade positions, there were no crossfires, there were no drones for coordinated peaks. It was almost like they had a plan. They knew what they wanted to do. They knew the positions that they wanted to hold. But the way that it was established meant that there was every opportunity for Soniqs to literally get 4 1v1s in a row. And statistically, if you come round a corner and I come round a corner, it's a 50-50 chance one of us gets the kill. You get it or I get it. Nitro, that's a little bit unfair. That's like a 90% chance. That 10% chance is if the game fucks you. Which it will. It can. I've seen it done a million times before where Nitro's under people don't kill them. But if you give the opponent the opportunity to clutch, then don't be surprised when it happens, because stranger things have happened in this game. Next round.
Definitely unlucky. Dark Zero again going for the bare minimum control they needed. PanBaZoo realizes that fence is free, or realizes the whole side is free, to be perfectly frank with you. Moves on in, and Dark Zero able to get that bomb down, but really got to hand it.
What factors make a good defense strategy? It depends on the map, mainly. But ideally, it's nothing is free for the attack. Like, they shouldn't be able to take things for free unless that's by design. And if you're doing it by design, it's usually because it's a trap. You could give them control of CCTV, but play a guy in customs, and that player in customs is actually the trap. He is the bait. You could have a whole strategy around baiting them to take customs from you, because it's a pulsing customs, but secretly you have players hidden in waiting room, in blue, in bottom main stairs, ready to kill whoever comes to roam clear. It needs to have an easily identifiable roster or lineup. So, for example, we look at Soniqs lineup right now. They have a lot of information. They have Valkyrie cameras, they have Echo drones, they have Alibi Prismas. It could be even more information if Rexon took deployable proximity alarms. But yeah, it's a heavy info lineup. It's also got a smidge of denial in it, and it has enough shotguns to make rotates. So it's identified as information-based. There's only one nitro, but the denial is pretty weak. So I'd say this is about information gathering more than anything else. Last round, we saw that DZ attacked this. We saw them just rush and take control of waiting, but not anywhere else, giving Soniqs the whole map. Like 85% of the map was in Soniqs control, or didn't have any members of DZ controlling it, which is why DZ lost. But we'll see. We'll see if DZ learns this one. Thank you for the follows, by the way, guys. Again, thank you, Jess, for the raid. It's a big ass mug. Holy shit! Yeah, it's a 1 liter mug. I like my tea. Kind of jealous. Yeah, you can get them from Amazon. They're not that bad. But yeah, it's the size of the mug to me. So last time DZ pushed this, PanBaZoo got here early. So the reason why PanBaZoo's here this early is because he actually wants to try and catch Rexon as he goes in between the site and whatnot. Last time we saw Rexon actually made it underneath the canopy here, underneath East stairs. So PanBaZoo is purely here as a trap, essentially. He's expecting too much movement. Small adaptation to citizen sighting and customs, but he's going to get breached out, maybe? No, not really. Excuse me. There's a little bit more pace behind Dark Zero this time and getting control of certain things. But yeah, here we are again. Rexon sees him. Call is given. Guy in passports. Citizen's going to spray the wall. PanBaZoo's gone. So PanBaZoo was a little bit fruitless there. 1 minute and a half, kind of wasted from his part. They did get the information now that there's a guy in customs. There's a guy on east. There's a guy on East stairs. Excuse me. I think no player in Fountain here is a bit sus. Oh, that's a fun time to pause. I think if you are defending if you are defending Office and Fountain, I think having no player in Fountain is sus as fuck. Obviously, the wall has been breached open, as you can see here. So, I would recommend cading this, or bandit tricking this, or mute jamming this. Because if this wall, surprisingly, it surprises you that this wall has been open, then odds are there's a player in NGR spot watching you, ready for you to leave. And having a player in Fountain all the time kind of prevents NGR from getting to this position. But I'm going to assume we didn't see it on camera. I'm going to assume they got this wall open, whether it was caded or not. They could just EMP it, they get the wall open, and then NGR pushes up here, which is fine. This is a very old take for Office. You don't see it very much on the Fountain walls anymore. The reason why you don't see it so much on the Fountain walls anymore is because it's quite easy to shoot them off from mainstairs position. Equally, it's very dangerous to sit on the hatch inside of CCTV. Easy to be nitroed from there. Easy to hide a Valkyrie camera inside of CCTV. However, they do have an IQ, so it's likely gotten found. So I think DZ did a decent job here at taking the operators they needed to achieve this wall being opened. Now here comes the caveat. Here comes the, oh no.
Although so many players from Dark Zero fall off the board in a matter of seconds. In a blink of an eye, Dark Zero's chances of gaining a lead on this half have completely vanished into thin air.
So the big one is no one mainstairs holding mainstairs as an attacker. It can be really hard to micromanage players' positions for things like this. I'll rewind to the oh no moment. Yeah, you can see here. So Gavini gets like fade away shot from Grixer as he pushes into Fountain. That's a-okay. I think the big thing here is a coordinated push as a unit. I would have liked to have seen maybe some long pressure, some pressure inside of break room, holding this Office cross. Maybe some pressure on east stairs, just a guy outside so that Rexon can't sit here. Some pressure on the triple breach, just one guy. Realistically, because of the way that the balcony is set up outside, it's easy to take control of east stairs and then rotate to CCTV, excuse me. But here we are. DZ need to live with the decision and the choices. They did manage to get NGR into archives here, which is pretty good. Pretty advanced position. But it is a case of man management. Pambazoo downstairs essentially puts himself in kind of a rough position for this. Like I said before, he was trying to play that like catch you out, uh-oh, got you moving trap guy. But I think having Pambazoo look around as your flank holder would have been a really efficient use of him for this round, especially if you're playing inside a CCTV and there's a Valkyrie on the other team. You don't want to get nitroed from below. You don't want to get mainstairs flanked. So having Pambazoo down there would have been probably a big buff to this attacking strategy if this is the way that they wanted to go about things. But yeah. A lot of people die in quick succession. We go down pretty much to a 1v5 in 15 seconds, give or take. I think that's mainly because of like 1v1s. So Grixer gets this 1v1 here. Rexon gets a 1v1 versus Pambazoo. Citizen gets the 1v1 versus the down Gavini. Then NGR pushes through. And this is kind of like a too little too late thing from NGR. He goes for the fight on Geo. I think that is very unlucky though. I do think he should have gotten that, but he didn't. If I really want to see where Pambazoo died. Okay, so Pambazoo's here. So he's pushing Catwalk and dies to Rexon. Yes. So I'd say for Pambazoo, maybe the Skylight drone got shot, so they didn't know that there's a player on Catwalk, which led Pambazoo essentially just getting unlucky on his fight, not knowing that Rexon's there. Rexon gets his freebie, and that should pinch you dead. This is the reason why I'd say Easter's control is very important, getting the Catwalk window open, Easter's open, Easter's control. Just like one guy is all it really takes to hold it efficiently. Maybe two, one on either balcony. Reason why I use the VOD, it's just more efficient to do it this way. I could sit in the free play, the spectator, and drive it around and all that shit, but I'm also very bad at controlling that, and I think you get most of the action from the camera anyway, at least from my POV anyway. I think having one guy on either side of the balcony here would have been good. I think having NGR pushing this is fine, so that's 3 of your guys. So now you can afford one guy main door, and then one guy on CCTV with those 3 positions held, because you don't need a guy in break room, you don't need a guy on catwalk if you have east-west control. So that actually saves you a position entirely, and that allows you the free player to float around main stairs. And then what you could have is the buck out here if the wall is soft. You buck the wall open at the same time the NGR pushes in through here. Gavini jumps through this breach. Realistically, just by deduction, if there's going to be players up here, they're not going to be in fountain once the wall's open. They're going to be on triple wall, they're going to be in suicide, or they're going to be by the window. So the number of safe positions diminishes rapidly when you do a setup like that, instead of the way that DZ did the setup here.
Players from Dark Zero fall off the board in a matter of seconds. In a blink of an eye, Dark Zero's chances of gaining a lead on this half have completely vanished into thin air. Achieve the only one left.
So 1v5, you're not supposed to win it. As I said before, speed is key. 1v1s are key.
From this ill-fated attack,
There's one 1v1.
spotted by the alibi, but that will just reveal the Soniqs own.
Someone's just giving away position through the floor, so now he knows that someone's down there.
He's made his way onto the top floor. And Soniqs will
Slowing down.
You want to get that 3-3 half. You don't want to give Achieve to potentially biblical history making, at least, well, history for the stage so far. 1v5. Likely just play together on the site. Make sure they don't have
Yellow ping. 1v1. 1v1. That's 3 1v1s he's gotten so far. 1v1. No, never mind. It was a good trade. So we got 3 1v1s. 3.5 maybe. But this was a good trade here. It came out just at a good time. So yeah, no. 3 1v1s. That was a good peak. That was a good trade. That's fine.
killing them. 45 seconds getting in. Then once the real round began, Soniqs completely shut them down. They also got the defuse on vents. We don't need to talk about that. We all remember it. So overall, a decent half between these two teams. What you'd hope for a 3-3
Again,
half. Not something as low
if you roll a 20-sided dice, there's an equal chance of getting to 1 than there is a 20.
as Dark Zero moves
Don't give them that chance.
tending. Well, it kind of shifts back and forth, whether it's attacker side.
Going back down to vents.
I would even say, let's see if
And we made it halfway. Let's go. 1 hour and 50 minutes in. We made it not even halfway. Oh, God. It's not even halfway done.
Soniqs with this round. Let's just see how this round plays out before we make any predictions.
Dark Zero going to go for not necessarily the expected site to start things out. Still a relatively safe choice as far as the defense is concerned. Just wanting to be able to give their defenders a little bit more capability to spread out and have free roam capabilities over the maps. They'll go downstairs instead.
Cap Cannon Pulse. So we have a heavy information lineup with Denial. So that's the identity for DZ's structure here. We have Valkyrie, that's information. Pulse, that's information. Capcan Traps, that's information. And then you have Denial with 1, 2, 3, 4 nitros and 3 smoke grenades. Big plant Denial. This has a major identity to the lineup. So we immediately know what DZ's end goal should be at the round as the round starts to conclude. It's deny the plant. But to get to the point where you need to deny the plant, you also need to burn the clock down. So, hello Fancy Pixel, and thank you for your follow as well. So for DZ to win this round, immediately from what we've seen, we don't want to see any crazy ego peaks, we don't want to see any crazy runouts or jump outs. What we want to see is a commanding presence in the round that dictates the pace. That's the big one here. DZ want to slow this shit down. Let's see if they do it. To slow this down, by the way, they need to literally pimp slap, backhand, whatever the fuck Soniqs is doing at the start. So let's see if they can do that.
two players inside of customs right now. We've got Canadian on the pulse, where you'd expect, but Gavini
I like this rotate.
Canada's almost like intel gathering clash when he's got his gadget. No gun up, can't shoot back.
Droned.
Make sure that he's not just completely getting decimated, though. Definitely does not offer the same protection as Clash, which is why Gavini
I like this.
needs to be in
So you have Gavini here covering for Canadian, because Canadian's going to be walking around with his scanner in his hands, and he's very vulnerable in that position. But Gavini being here to trade him or help him, and also having a Nitro to assist him is quite nice as well. But Gavini's used his Nitro at some point. I don't know when he used his Nitro. I like this as well. So when you have this wall soft, but no barricades here, you can essentially buck this and just sit outside in no man's land and just hold nice little angles in. But it means that if Soniqs want to commit to clearing Canadian, because right now I think they only know about Canadian, they actually have to come in and destroy these barricades. They can do it from outside, obviously, but it's like another noise system. It's another warning system. Soniqs can't sneak up on Canadian. But so far, so good. Oh, plant's coming down. Okay. I'm gonna let this play out, then pause it. Okay, so let's go to here. Perfect place to pause. So we have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 explosives used. One of the big things that I mentioned a lot in the Koi versus Wolves games is identifying when you can win a round. And that usually stemmed off of attackers doing things sooner. When they see an opportunity, they take the opportunity. They take a risk. They dictate the pace of the round. They set the precedent for the remaining 2-3 minutes, however many is left over. Here you have Soniqs essentially getting the plant down soon, because not only have they identified where DZ are, they've killed Smoke, and there's only one more player on site to contest, and just circumstantially, NGR does not have his Nitro. So he's killed from NGR. Yep, that's fine. But it cost them everything. So this is what I would consider overreaction. I want to focus more so on like Canadian here. Where is Canadian when he dies? Am I blind? I think I'm blind. I'm going to assume Canadian runs out of the breach and gets shot. Gavini pushes up and gets shot. Yes. Okay, that's exactly what happened. So, Rexon is covering the breach that he's made down here in jail. Rexon is going to kill Canadian as Canadian goes for a play. Then he's going to get Gavini, because as we saw earlier on, he's opened up the whole of the little stockroom here so that he can sit inside of jail pretty comfortably and deny any kind of backstabbing or window plays here. Equally, you have Flores Grixer here covering the main door push, and I like his angle. I like his angle a lot. So from this position here, if I could draw a straight line, like his covering like this, right? He don't give a fuck if there's a defender in this circle. All he cares about is if someone is swinging his planter. Hello, Stizzy. Why am I using the VOD? Because I'm awful at controlling the in-game replay system. I learned that the hard way. But yes, this is what I would consider an overreaction. The only downside here is whether or not NGR gets the kill on the planter. On NGR gets the kill onto Geo. And this is the really awkward part, because it's, in hindsight, a big overreaction from Canadian and Gavini, excuse me, to push out of jail. And this is always the hardest part of analyzing this, is like trying to be fair but firm. if they coordinated their push, then they trade Rexen. If they said, blah, blah, come with me, like Canadian says, giving you come with me, we're peeking outside, or come with me, we're going to kill Rexen or Buck inside a jail, there's a good chance you get that trade, and then there's a good chance he runs out, and there's a good chance he kills Grixer. But if NGR says he has a situation under control here, and that he gets the kill on Geometrics, then there's no need for Canadian Cavani to do anything else. But considering we don't have the comms, and we are looking at hindsight, it's difficult to set a precedent here, or a standard, or a stance.
Quick OXG playing an event. Well, somebody was taking notes, and I'm not just talking about Sonic.
It ends in a 4v2.
That down very quickly, but it's still Dark Zero.
That's a nitro burnt and wasted as well.
Disaster and is able to avert that direct plant. Big issue now for the Sonics, but thankfully it's going to turn into a relatively small issue when everything is said and done. The trade still heavily favoring them, obviously with it being down to a 4v1. Everything falls to achieve this point. Gets the L ping, but
Unlucky.
late on the intel, unfortunately. At least the follow-up for that
Again, 1v1's speed. He went for 1v1 with a nitro. Didn't get it, but we're not going to count it because 1v1s with nitros is unfair. He is someone on the stairs. He's been baited with a shot, and he's killed by an off angle.
This one should go off without too much of an issue. Back cheap with the potential movement. Now he's complete.
I think Grixer's fine here. I'd say this is unfair for achieved because it's an off angle. Equally, I understand why no one can help Grixer here, because if someone was to hold an angle with Grixer, they'd be here, and they wouldn't be running out, but that would also leave them very exposed for a server push and being flanked very quickly, which would just give them another 1v1. I'd say Grixer is in a one and done spot, but it's an off angle, and it's relatively, it's heavily in his favor. So I'd say this is fine.
Now he's completely missed the player on metal stairs, though, so Grixer gets away with that one. And the Sonics will shut down their first round on the attack.
Yeah, low times too from Grixer. Got to be careful you don't do it 3 times. We'll start kind of with just some very loose pressure inside a passport, some very loose control on the top floor, and then just move it for a very quick plant. Take the defense off guard. Job done. Bob's uncle. You've got the round. Excellent call by Sonics. Excellent read. And for Dark Zero,
Don't like this.
hope for is that watch the side a little bit more.
I think triple reinforcing bathroom is a major misplay. Because essentially, even if you put your rotate in the single wall and not on the triple wall, you're making it so much harder to play inside of workshop and server. I would only ever do this if I'm expecting the push to come from vents and customs, and I would only ever do this and reinforce off this right hand wall late. I'd only ever do this if it was guaranteed on your mum's life the push is coming from vents or customs. No, vents and customs, not or. Something has to push from vents for me to ever want to rotate these off. And this would be a rotate until I reinforce it off late into the round. You are strangling your team's ability to be independent, to move, to flow freely around the ground floor of the map. We saw it previously on the other side, on the other switch of things, where we had Soniqs holding the really long lines of sights through these walls that were very creative and was really good at denying the single wall plant on tellers. This just chokes your team.
We can hope for is that watch the side a little bit more.
Thankfully, not going to have to worry about any, hopefully not worry about any direct plant angle coming in this time. The Sonics really want to get spicy. They could, of course, try the window hop in for this one, but
They don't have the lineup for it.
yeah, not going to be working too well for that one.
Unless a lot of things change really quickly.
Not going to end up seeing that happen, though. Even though we do have a few repicks, it's just to the
Here's the kill hole I talked to you guys about, excuse me. You can sit on the hatch above at an angle and you can watch the window jump in. It's very strong. Very important to have.
a little bit more soft reach in this one, so not going to be seeing that.
Don't agree with this either. This, if I'm droning, and I drone customs, and I see this is barricaded, I drone bottom main stairs, and I see the blue door is barricaded. We called this blue on Koi. This position was blue. And I'm joining workshop, and I see this door is barricaded and the triple wall's reinforced. I'm like, free map control. Great. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. You know, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it plays out for them. East control, I dig it, but castle barricades are not the best for controlling east stairs. They are very easily destroyed. You can put a shield here. There's a spot for an Azami barricade in one of these positions, coming to a meepeY knows short sometime in the near future how to hold these stairs. But yeah. I do disagree with the way that they've tried to control these stairs. But the way that they spread out above is good. It's clear what the identity is, at least. It's a lot of upstairs denial more than anything else, but yeah. Pause it here just for you guys as entertainment. So we've got one guy in break, one guy in, well, we used to call this Brazil, but I guess it's corner hatch. By the looks of it, Canadian is downstairs. Can't quite tell on the spectator PV. One guy pushing long from office and one guy in armory. So yeah, one guy here, one guy there, one guy there. Okay, so essentially this is like a top floor hold. They're holding all of top floor with single players in positions. Now, the curious part here is with faster, if Soniqs can identify this, they can actually make some pretty quick plays here and win themselves the round quite quickly. The big standout one is the loose ends. Right now, there are 2 players that are loose ends. Chat, do me a favor. Which players are the loose ends? So we have Oryx here. I think that's Frost. I can't quite tell. But yeah. Which of these players are loose ends for Soniqs to pick? This is in your favor because quite a few of them are loose ends. The loose ends, quickly, is deduced by whether or not you can just get rid of them. So, let's start with Grixer. Oh, not Grixer, sorry. With Pambizu here on Oryx. Oryx is actually in a relatively safe position, depending on the holes that DZ have made. He has immediate backup in break room, and he has immediate backup from armory if the armory wall is open. Contesting his window, break room contests his door. Fucking Pambizu, sorry, Grix's icon is right there. All Pambizu has to do is not get too crazy on the window, and he's pretty safe. Equally, the player in break room is relatively safe. He can't be pushed from catwalk because he can be peeked from the office player. He has a trade opportunity, with Pambizu, meaning that he is relatively safe as long as he doesn't get too crazy on the door. The armory player is in a halfway position. The armory player is exposed to a fast play from archives. If you repel a player on the window, you go below, you nitro him, buck the floor, make him move into the line sight of the window, push a guy from archives, or hold a guy in the archives window to cut the room in half. This player in armory is a loose end. This player in office is a loose end. The holes here, there are none. meaning Break Room can't assist Office very well, meaning that if they bucked, breached, or pushed this triple ball quickly, jumped a player in the window, and equally they could also make a play on the armory guy at the same time. They are loose ends. Canadian down below is a semi loose end. We know that his triple wall is reinforced. We know that there's kill holes all the way along the floor in Fountain to workshop below. And I'm going to assume that the hatch is open here for a fast drop on an armory. Canadian, however, is weakest from being pushed generically from below. As in, push a player through passport, push a player down easters, jump a player through the window, and if you're quick enough, if you have information on this hatch, which is easily gainable by putting a drone on the skylight above, you can rush Canadian here and kill him too. So there are actually 3 loose ends and 2 crossfires. One of the loose ends is a weak loose end, as in he could easily be defended, or he can save himself, or he could put himself in a power position so that he's baited and doesn't die, and that's the armory player. But other than that, Soniqs can take advantage of this if they're quick enough.
Not giving up any huge amount of positioning just yet, although we are more than likely going to see the upstairs office hold give away sooner rather than later, as it's really just fallen all to NJR.
Oh, and this wall is soft. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. NJR is a super loose end here.
Does he feel he's wasted out enough of the bank to fall back and allow Soniqs to use the rest of that remaining time to actually execute into the site? Of course, we still have the players over here inside a break room too, so it's actually a bit
Oh yeah, and there's a castle barricade here. Achieved can't help NJR even if he wanted to.
more complexity to this clear than I was initially expecting, and even worse.
Where's the drone info, man? Where's the double push? Where's the double peek? Jump a guy through the window and push this at the same time and buck open triple wall. Like I said before, earlier in this game, it is worth it to talk for 10 seconds, plan for 10 seconds, and push for 10 seconds, i.e. waste 30 seconds of your time for a guaranteed kill or trade and get map control, than it is to try and make a hero play.
So there's actually a bit more complexity to this clear than I was initially expecting, and even worse, members of DZ, rather than Soniqs, walking directly into that setup, none the wiser to the more aggressively set up players on the defensive end of it.
Erickson caught lurking across the property line, unfortunately. HOA had to get on that one real quick. JR shuts it down, but now Geo, once again, going for the plant. Where's the coverage? Where's
Boom.
the people? There's Canadian with the C4. All good. Don't worry about it, John. Where's the...
So, Soniqs have essentially taken the path of least resistance, which, in theory, is great. We saw them do it again on the previous round. We saw them do it for the first time on the previous round, where they just tried to plant immediately inside of Workshop, or inside of Vents, excuse me, and that works for that site. But guess what fucking Dark Zero did on their attacking half? They did the same thing. They took the path of least resistance, got to the bomb site, and tried to plant. Again, you can't win a Taylor's bathroom take unless everything goes perfectly to plan. And I mean spotlessly perfect. Unless you actually put pressure on triple wall, take office control, fountain control, so on and so forth. The defenders just have too much room to breathe. And when the defenders can take a nice big lung full of air, they're just gonna fucking run around and shoot you and throw nitros and shit. Do you think Canadian could throw that nitro cell if there was more pressure above, like someone was on his hatch above? No. Do you think Canadian could have done that if there was additional coverage down below as well? As we saw before, a whole of downstairs is clear. It's empty. You could push a player from main door, through blue, into mid, into the bathroom hallway, into bathroom, and just shoot Canadian. That's all free. All free. But we're taking the path of least resistance. We're going straight for the plant, straight for open area, or waiting room, excuse me. We're going straight for the plant.
Quick, JR shuts it down, but now Geo, once again, going for the plant. Where's the...
And again, this falls into, like, if you give a player a chance to do something cool or crazy, there's a chance that they'll do something cool or crazy. So long toss, nitro, insert American football comment here. Lands perfectly on the mark, and Geo goes, boom.
There's Canadian with the C4. All good. Don't worry about it, John.
Even better, now, once again, Case is down, lucky
So how does Achieved die here? In theory, Achieved is in a very powerful position against the wall. Use my power eyes. So he dies to Gunner. Gunner goes in and gets another one. So let's do the 1v1 counter. 1v1. Loose thread. 1v1. 1v1. So this essentially was a throw into a throw. Thank you, Jack. So, gonna get to 1v1 unachieved. And then he pushes up. He gets another 1v1 on NGR. Gavini's going to get 1v1 by Grixer. And this is what happens when you have a defense that is so spread out. Like this. Gavini is forced to drop armory because there's pressure happening on site. But again, he's locked out of sight. He has to stay inside of archives. Tellers, excuse me. God, I need to be right back. Holy fuck. He is caught in workshop with no way to realistically pressure the site or get back to site, so he's locked in there. I'm assuming Achieved made a move based upon something happening on site. I'm assuming because the nitro's down, he swung and died, so that's unnecessary movement. The fuse is on the floor. No one's going to plant anytime soon. So there's realistically no need for DZ to move at all at this point. The flank from Pampazu here is good, but the aim was not. That's unlucky. Here comes the plant. 1v3. Speed is key. 1v1s. Grixer gives him a 1v1. Slap on the wrist for Grixer. Grixer 1 bazillion% should not be peeking this again. If I'm Grixer, try and pause this when I can. If I'm Grixer, I'm stood here and I'm holding an angle like this. I'm not peeking this door. You Canadian, come on through. Come on out the door. I don't care. Oh my god, they even quad reinforced this. Yeah, no wonder Gavini's trapped here. But yes, I'm not holding the door. I'm holding this push out of the door. Same thing here for Citizen. Holding his breach aggressively. It's another instance of you don't need to hold the peak. You need to hold the push. When he comes out of this, put yourselves in Canadian shoes, right? When Canadian gets to this breach, he's going to shoulder peek and check if Citizen is holding him, or just a player's holding him in general. And again, that's just giving Canadian a chance to win that 1v1. Same with Grixer peeking the doorway here. It's giving Canadian a chance to win a 1v1. You're giving them chances to win. You can remove, or at best reduce the chance if you can't get a crossfire by like going in a weird spot, in a weird angle, and just catch them when they're moving, not when they're peeking. That's the big one. Right, give me 1 minute, guys. Give me 1 minute. I need to actually BRB. I need to use the bathroom. I'm dying here, man. I'm dying. I'm just had a pint of tea. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm back. Whew, God. I drink a lot. I drink a lot of liquids. Where were we? Round 9. 2 hours, 20 minutes in. Fuck my life. Let's go. That's a curious setup. So essentially when you reinforce this wall and put a shield here, to cross this threshold you have to vault the shield or destroy the shield. You can't walk past it. So that's like a noise generator. If you reinforce this wall, it does give free reign to enter the archives door, and that's a big thing you need to look at when you're reinforcing this wall. How's Savannah doing? She's good. She's good. All right, so let's see. So we have a Vigil on site. Vigil on site is an interesting choice. It basically means that if you want to try and do a sneaky plant or a fast plant, it's hard to lock down Canadian. The big thing here for the attackers is, do they want to clear Canadian, and how can they clear Canadian? You can see that Gavini's got kill holes down here to the main door. Pamazoo is inside of CCTV, probably with kill holes through the floor and the hatch is open. So it'll be kind of a pain to get in here. Unlucky. So, Pamazoo killed Citizen. Where is Citizen as Ayana? He killed him on the window. Wow, okay. Okay. So that's a curious kill. My eyes, ow. My question is, did they know that Pamazoo was there? If they knew that Pamazoo was there, then just kind of idly walking past the window is a bit rough. I'd definitely invest in clearing CCTV at this point if I'm Soniqs. I've noticed this a lot with North American teams, is that they tend to take the path of least resistance, and they seldom want to clear out these roamers, and I really don't know why. With just some basic drones, office skylight, east-stairs control, and maybe some hard breach for this wall specifically, you can make it impossible for Oryx to escape. Yeah, like force him to drop the hatch, and you can have a guy below waiting for that, or you force him to stick and fight. And you essentially can get Oryx in a garbage position by jumping in the catwalk window and just pushing catwalk to get into a pretty aggressive spot very quickly. You use your office drone in the skylight to check if anyone's playing aggressively and holding these kill holes, which there isn't. So you can easily just kind of push yourself like right here and just chill and hold his rotate. You hard breach this wall with Ace if you have Ace, and it makes it even less likely that he can escape. And then you can jump in the window, push the door into CCTV. You can nade him from below, buck him from below, put pressure on him, make him move into someone's line of sight. Again, 30 seconds, 10 seconds to talk, 10 seconds to plan, 10 seconds to execute. Worth it every time.
There was this bulletproof that our observer is showing right now as well on the
Have you done data analytics for Rogue, or was that Tristan's job? And have you done it for? Do you have any advice? I have done it before. I did it for E United when I joined them before I was promoted to head coach. When it comes to it, the longest piece of time you need to spend doing is making your spreadsheets future-proof and making your sheets as automated as possible. There's an extreme level of automation where you can do like machine learning and screen reading and things like that. That's kind of above my head right now. If I wanted to learn that or to dip my toes in that, I could. And if you do want to take it super, like, be the best, that's definitely worth looking into. But realistically, you want to be doing as little work as possible other than basic entry of data. You want your sheet to calculate everything for you. The biggest thing is to ask your team what statistics they want. What are they interested in knowing? And then bring more than that. Because you can do a lot of interesting things with statistics. You can, the one that I always use as an example, is that you can use your team's entry statistics on attack and defense to figure out whether your team is too fast or too slow. You can see whether it is worth it to be aggressive in the first 60 seconds. That can be a statistic that you track. You could find that when you get the opening kill, you win 80% of the rounds. But when you have the opening death, you win like 35% of the rounds. Fuck yeah. Jump out of windows at the start of the round. Get aggressive, get hyped. But if you find that your opening kill conversion to winning a round is like 60% and losing the opening death, your win conversion is like 5%, then probably spawn peaks and fast plays aren't for your team. Let's reacquaint ourselves with this. Damn, that would have been a sick shot, but it was someone else that got the kill. Again, it's another path of least resistance. Soniqs haven't cleared anything. They're just taking what is free and seeing if they can stretch it. But when you stretch this type of thing so thin, cracks begin to form, and you end up in a position like this where NGR can just sit on E-stairs and just shoot your player in the back. 1 second, guys. Oh, never mind. She's gone. Again, Armory's not being cleared, so Gavini can just chill there. Unlucky timing. Again, we're in a 1v5. You're not supposed to win this. Speed is key. As many 1v1s as you can. And I think the important one you can do here is that you can take defender positions for granted. Like, you don't have to check everything when you're in a clutch situation. You just have to check the most common things and play as fast as you can. Because you got 30 seconds to kill 5 people. 30 seconds to kill 5 people gives you 6 seconds per kill. And for every 6 seconds that pass, you lose a second to kill someone. And it stacks up quickly. Because now he's only got like 4 seconds to kill each person. But now it's just a timeout. That's just a timeout at this point. 3 seconds to kill all the players. 2 seconds to kill each player. And now it's only like 1 second to kill 5 players each. Is Rogue still an org? No. Rogue no longer exists. It is now Koi. Koi bought everything. all the assets, all the teams, all the staff, they got, in your word, devoured.
From the drone count, they only actually used about half their drones before going for the execute there, so a big possibility they might have just felt that it was a little bit more open on the
Damn. Yep. Welcome to the business world. It is ruthless.
pretty quickly once they set foot into the site. That's great once
And thank you for the follow.
set up for being able to mask things so nicely until NJR, of course,
Thank you to all those who've been following.
started off.
And the sub. Thank you very much.
Hopefully for Soniqs here,
Being a fan for a minute.
a little bit more decisive.
I've enjoyed your minute. I hope you spend many more here.
Have definitely had a quiet early round for about the first 45 seconds to a minute. And with Soniqs and the mechanical skill,
So, Score's been kicking my ass, so I can't watch as much as I want. No worries, my guy. This will be uploaded to YouTube once it's done, so you could always go back and look at it again. As like a cool tidbit, I know Solus is banned, but Solus in this position is so strong. She sees all the drones on the balcony. She can see if there's a drone on the skylight. She can see if someone's entering passport. She's so strong in this position.
caliber of player that they have on their roster, I want them to see whether they take CCTV, whether they take E-stairs. I want to see them apply a little bit more pressure and aggression quickly into the round. Because we see Pan Mizzou's feeling it.
Is there a reason Frost is not running Shield when they have a Valken Pulse? I think this is more so DZ leaning into an information lineup. They want that deployable camera, 3 Valkyrie cameras, and the scanner. They probably don't want a shield or don't care for the shield. It doesn't hurt to run a shield, I agree. I think this is DZ leaning really heavily into information. I'm assuming that this deployable camera is on bench facing Armory Breach, or it's in fountain facing office.
We see Pan Mizzou wants to get into the fray. He sees that rappel on the building and he's saying, maybe this is my freebie, maybe this is my one.
Yoink.
And indeed it is, because the aggression and the risk pays off.
There's nothing to analyze on that. Sometimes you get gunfights, sometimes you win them, sometimes you don't.
What does SQ have to open up these walls? Not a damn thing.
No follow-up there. Just gonna have to find another way to force their
A drone could have been alright, but hey ho.
right out from East Main, trying to capture as much territory.
Oh my god, he's trying to do it again. He's going to run out as well.
They'll have to wait and see. Sonic setting up a lot around CCTV right now.
How would you clear CC? I went over it a few rounds ago. It's kind of hard to see what's going on. Like, we know that Achieved is playing Catwalk or Break Room. We know that RX is chilling. Well, he has basically free reign of this entire room. You got a player playing close on Armory, and this floor is now indestructible as well, so you can't nade him out. It depends whether or not you can sneak a drone on site. In hindsight, you could easily get a drone into archives and then drone out the rest of Armory, and then you can see that there's a gaping weakness that you could just walk in through Armory, through archives here. Obviously, Canadian's going to scan you. He's going to pulse you, but that's going to get this guy to move. And when this guy moves, you can push this hallway quite efficiently. But realistically, in a more realistic sense, this fucking map is dictated by E-stairs. You have to take E-stairs on like 90% of the takes. If you don't take E-stairs, and you're not getting much done. I'd take E-stairs, personally. Putting a lot of pressure on Catwalk by taking E-stairs, and then putting another play downstairs in Tellers, through Passport, whatever it may be. I'd take E-stairs. I'd probably nade Passport floor to get rid of Achieved. Depending on how much of a pain in the ass Canadian is, whether he has a rotate to bathroom or not, would play a big role in how this is done as well. If he has a rotate to bathroom, I wouldn't put someone in Tellers to clear Achieved on the Catwalk, just underneath where Rexon's icon is. In that case, it might be worth pivoting the whole push entirely on clearing Canadian, then rotating to E-stairs. The biggest weakness... where's Gav? What's Gavini playing? He's playing in office. He's over here somewhere, underneath Geo's dead picture. It depends on how much support Canadian has. Hatches being open is one thing, but does he have kill holes? Does he have rotates? The biggest thing with Pulse is that he's going to be running around with his scanner out, checking things. So it's very easy to hide a drone at Pulse because the scanner is kind of noisy and it takes up a lot of the screen. Can you sing for us? You got to get me drunk for that. So it would be easy to get a drone on Canadian here. And it would be easy to just bum rush Canadian here. I don't think he has much of a support structure. I think the support structure is all anchored towards keeping control of CCTV and a little bit of pressure on Office. So I would say Canadian is the loose end that you could easily go for first. Get rid of Canadian, and now you can pivot towards East Stairs. What will likely happen if you go for Canadian is Achieved. He's an aggressive player. We've seen him do it before. He'll do it a million times before. He'll probably play Catwalk very aggressive, or even drop Catwalk. And you might even get Pambazu dropping Corner Hatch as well to try and help him. You never know. This is the big reason why action is so important for the attacks, is that you can break an entire defensive structure, an entire defensive lineup, by going for something completely different. Doing something, like, not even pushing into this. Like, going for Canadian could result for two of these, like this L-bend shape here going on, where each player has a crossfire with one other player. Pambazu has a crossfire with, I think this is NGR. And then you have Achieved here in break. These players have an L-shaped crossfire. Pambazu can help either player can help Pambazu. But going for Canadian can break this quite easily. You can make NGR move to a hatch. You can make Achieved drop. You can make Pambazu drop. You can make a lot of things happen by moving and doing some things in general. I'm surprised you couldn't secure a Pro League spot. Yeah. Oh well. Callout told me you're a hell of a good coach. That's nice of him. Callout's a good bud. Well, unfortunately, at the end of the day, I have to wait on my ass for a while. Technically, I can coach a team right now. I just have to not be put on the Rainbow Six roster in an official capacity. Like, I can get around the roster lock because I'm not a player. But teams are only just going to start looking for potential new coaches now. And that would literally only be like Parabellum and Mirage if they are not happy with their coaches because they're in last place. The real things will happen. NAL side of things will only start happening in like a few weeks. And same with EUL, it'll be like a month for EUL and LATAM dependent. That's just based on how things are scheduled. The official roster unlock is in April. Is early April. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks, give or take, is when the rosters unlock. So yeah. But yeah, Canadian is the loose end. Yeah, Steve's been here a while. Steve's been here a very long time. Steve is a loyal follower and a good person to chat to when they're around. Oh damn, Melted's been here for 3 years and 4. Jesus. But yes, there's this L-shaped crossfire. L is Sneaky the Queen. Canadian is the loose end. And also, we don't see him, so I haven't really talked about him much. But Gavini over here, underneath Geos, is also a loose end. But he's much harder to get a hold of because of Canadian's position below. He can be instantly notified that someone's coming to fuck with him. And it'd be quite easy for Pambazu to peek long hallway. I'm assuming Achieved has some good pressure on East Stairs from his position. And of course, NJR can always rotate. Yeah, he's in suicide. I like this position. It's an off angle. So when I was a player, in my last stage, in my like season, I played Jaeger and I played this corner. Oh, it could have been Gavin. MJ was in there. It doesn't matter where the people are, Robbie. All that matters is where the operators are. But anyway, this is an amazing off angle that Pambazu has because no one fucking looks here. No one nades here. No one checks here. I used to sit here as Jaeger and I get so many freebies just peeking this window like this. Naded behind banana desk. Nade in the window. At least he gets the frost trap. Jaeger ACOG days? No, ACOG was gone back then. Is it possible to find these replays where we can observe? Now, this is the annoying thing, is because I know that in the professional Discord and like the actual like the EUL Discord, there was a channel where they would upload the POVs to, but I think they do upload them as well to a website. I need to double check what website that is. I used to just get them from that Discord channel, but I don't know if that's a thing now. And eventually, like, I think it changed, like you needed to email in to get them and weird shit like that. I am garbage with the replay system. I am so bad at controlling it. But anyway, I digress. So I just want to say, like, blind nading is a waste of your nade. One of the big things that we had on Koi is, I love Spoit. I think Spoit's hilarious, and I think he's a fantastic player. But we had issues with, for example, with Spoit. We're just randomly fucking nade shit. And then later on, it's like, oh, we need your nades. And it's like, I've used them already. And this is a good example of an unnecessary nade from Grixer here that reminded me heavily of like something that Spoit would do. It's a good place to nade. It's a smart place to nade, but he doesn't know whether someone's there or not. Like I said before, it's very easy to secure a drone in this room. There's a million different ways to get into this room sneakily. Drone up main stairs, archives balcony. Obviously, the armory door is not the way to go right now. You can jump it in through the window by opening the window and throwing it in. Same with the archives window. Excuse me. There's literally so much guff, debris, and knickknacks on top of everything here. Sneaking a drone in here for Grixer should have been really easy, but hey ho.
Is able to knock out Canadian from that one, eliminating the pulse intel that's coming in from down below, and now Citizen evens the numbers back out by finally grabbing Achieved.
All right, we've taken down some of those lurkers, taken down two of the C4s that Dark Zero had. Now we're going
So, excuse me. So, when these nades are ringing out here, obviously Pambas is communicating that, Pambas is communicating, I am being naded from below. So the question is, where does Canadian die? Canadian dies to Grixer. Grixer is where? There. Okay. Where the fuck is Grixer? Main door. Okay. That's right, yeah. We were talking about him nading there before. Canadian, like I said, is the weak link. He's the loose end. I don't think this was really much of a planned thing. I think this is what Canadian walks into Grixer doing his thing down here, which is pretty straightforward and normal. NGR gets Gunner. Gunner was Easters. There's the nade that we questioned. Citizen gets Achieved because Achieved drops. So like I said before, just some action will generally cause a defensive reaction. We get Citizen nading from below. Canadian dies from below. Gunner has a firefight with NJR on, around Easters. And then... yes, please. And then you essentially have Achieved feels like he needs to make a play. He drops. He dies to Citizen. Action causes reaction. So 3v3, 35 seconds, rounding down to the nearest nade from below. Gobi. Now, is this a yellow ping? Oh no, it's not. Damn, how the fuck does he know he's there? What a great nade. That's a good nade. So, now we enter the territory of how many 1v1s can DZ get. Specifically, because of these positionings here, We have NGR all the way back in this corner. I'm only assuming that NGR is here is because he's worried of someone flanking through office or up the main stairs. However, I would probably lean on the side that he needs to be a little bit more up and a little bit more aggressive sooner. Like right here. Yeah. So yeah, the only reason why he's here is to cover the fountain push onto site. And this is good as well. His positioning is really good because he's covering the push to the door. And he's not covering any of this. All of this is free. And this will start to give a... How do I explain this? Essentially, if you're an attacker and you're pushing through all this shit, there's a good chance, given how a lot of players take shit for granted that they shouldn't, is that there's no one going to be playing here. Especially if we're focused on meepeY here, on the attacking side of things. NGR would have gotten a kill if someone pushes through here. So his positioning is fine. It's a false sense of security, yeah. The big one here, though, is Gavini's positioning here. Like, he gets one and he gets out. Man. I'm thinking how I want to react to this. Because I'm in two minds. Soniqs are in a 1 versus 2 here. Gavini has a firefight initially with Citizen. Then Rexon's going to get off his drone, or whatever he's doing, and he's going to swing, and Gavini's going to pre-fire him, and Rexon dies. So that's really good from Gavini. But in my mind, the bell is ringing. Sometimes the wrong play gets the right results. The wrong position gets the right results. And then I take a step back one more and I think, well, Grix is nading from below a lot. And he's probably worried that if he plays a more default position, he'll get naded. So I'm in this very neutral ground of Gavini's position here. I think his kill onto Rexon is fantastic. And the fact that he escapes is great as well. But even then, I roll the clock back to here. Let me play this out. If Gavini dies, who trades? If Gavini dies, it's more so if... What does DZ gain from a man in this position? And now I'm fighting my inner demons. Because because the aggressive side of my coaching style says this is a fantastic position. But the side of me that wants to win rounds by being the biggest asshole to your opponents possible screams to me that this player is a loose end. And he is a free pick for Soniqs. Even though he gets the kill and escapes. That's hindsight stuff. But I'd like this more if someone was with him. I think with NGR in this position here, you could argue meepeY plays window, and meepeY's in charge of these holes, and Gavini's in charge of the door. That would be a better play, because I think NGR can still cover meepeY's door. I think he can still cover this, even if it causes him to have to push up a little bit, and then maybe rely on a Valkyrie camera in office or something like that. Yeah, I wouldn't put him... I guess you could play half-wall. Half-wall is kind of strange. Thank you very much. Half-wall is kind of strange in the sense that it'd be easy for Grixer to clear that position from below, because once you're in half-wall, you're stuck there. Or, in theory, you should be stuck there, because an attacker should be able to just get rid of you, like lickety-split, if you try and escape.
Something work from cut off that angle inside of 90, flank up by metal, and make something work. Ooh, but a nade from Grixer, he sticks with it, cuts down PanBazoo. Now even if Dark Zero...
I just think someone being here with Gavini would be better. That's my final thought process is, this is, I am neutral on Gavini being here, but someone should have been playing close with him. PanBazoo should have been playing close in the bomb or inside a box, or PanBazoo should have been in this like L shape here to help him. Or Gavini shouldn't have been there at all. Those are the three stances.
Now Soniqs might have something more decisive as
Pick your favorite one.
defenders to one on each site.
Continuing to wait for an opportunity to work their way back in.
It's hard to be like very fair when a lot of this is in hindsight, you know. But it doesn't matter anyway. This is the questionable one. Like Citizen, my question is, why is Citizen peeking this? Just because, you know, we've naded this position, Soniqs have naded this position. They've cleared this position. I'm just not quite sure what he's looking at here. And that's just the age-old coin flip 50-50 for Grixer here. Aims to the right side of the lockers, gets peeked from the left side of the lockers. Unlucky. And we're back to reinforcing all four walls. You know my position on this one, ladies and gentlemen. I am not a fan of this. And magically, I have another cup of tea. That's hot. Oh, that's hot. Sure, DZ have a plan? Yeah, we went over it the previous time DZ did this defense. Essentially, they run one guy armory, one guy inside of CCTV playing the breach a little bit aggressive. They have one guy in break room, one guy in office, and then Canadian sits below. Although, Canadian is chilling upstairs right now, so I'm not quite sure what he's doing here so soon. Cameras, there's one on long, there's one, I think, in archives, and I don't know where the last one is. I like that. PanBazoo using the dash to cross the gaps. That shit is so fast, it's hard to react to, so yes. Bulletproof cam. I'm assuming it's an armory. Facing the armory breach. But yeah, this is an adaptation from DZ now. Instead of having Canadian below, they brought him upstairs, and now they're getting very aggressive on east stairs. I like this. Camera's there. I think even knew he was there. He still gets the kill. Just as a reminder, you can kill this player from the rooftop. 6 breach charges and Ash. Yeah, that's a lot of shit getting opened. But you can kill NGR from the rooftop here. Just for hindsight, just for future reference to any team. If anyone ever plays this shit aggressively, put a player on the roof. Just some unnecessary peaks on NGR.
Still a minute to go, and in fact, that's going to be almost every single drone now used up by the Sonic side. The one we just saw on camera is the last one they have in the arsenal right now. So really scrapping for intel here, considering they haven't even made the transition downstairs yet. But thankfully, they're going to find solid footing in the...
We hope you're doing well. Love the new route you're taking, educating us plebs. Thank you, Ledix. You're not plebs. I'm sure you all know what you're doing. And this is the downside, by the way, of doing what DZ's doing. So right now they've barricaded customs to blue, customs to mid, sorry, blue door, which is near mid, to bottom main stairs. They barricaded workshop to mid. They've quadruple reinforced off workshop to site. Pambazu drops. And whack. He now has to Kool-Aid man his way through the floor, through the wall. And that's loud as shit. Damn, okay. So, let's talk about how this went wrong. So here, this is communication error 101. So we have here, who is this, Rexon? Yeah, so Rexon drops off the east stairs flank. Rexon does not commit, or is it? Yeah, it's Rexon. Rexon doesn't communicate that he's dropped off the east stairs hold. Gavini runs down east stairs and shoots Citizen in the back. Citizen is not looking. Citizen is right here. This is Citizen right here. He's now dead. Now, Rexon is retaking Citizen's position. Grixer is on site. Reminder, we've got deployable cameras, we've got beepers, we've got Valkyrie cameras. There's a lot of information. Grixer's probably found quite a lot of it as IQ, but something, whether it's divine intervention, Gavini knows, pops him down. What could Soniqs do here? Well, the big one is if Ash has her launchers, which she has one, I'm getting rid of this castle barricade. The big thing to always remember when you're on attack is that the defense doesn't put up castle barricades just for fun. They're there for a reason. They're there for a very important reason, or else the defense probably wouldn't put them there. If you ever have the opportunity to destroy a castle barricade, no matter how early in the round, do it. This can be destroyed from the roof, I'm pretty sure. Equally, I think if Rexon just shoots what he's looking at here and makes noise, steals his position, I think Grixer gets the kill. I think Grixer shoots Gavini in the back. And if that's not a play, then Rexon needs to just push. There's nothing Rexon could have done other than push at the same time Grixer did. At the end of the day, one of you is going to die. One of you will hopefully get the kill. But time is the enemy. Pambazu is in mid at this point. He shut down the door. One of them, his border roof is busted. Yeah, it's busted. You can hold the flank from border roof. Focusing on the DZ side of things, I think Gavini made a really good play getting down that east stairs quickly. He manages to get 2 people, obviously shooting Citizen in the side of the head. Citizen didn't expect it. That's a communication problem mainly from the side of Soniqs. Divine intervention or good sound. Gavini gets the kill onto Grixer as well. I'd say with the timer ticking down, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, I don't think Pambazu needs to peek here. I think he could just go prone behind the desk and wait. I think he could completely sell out Gavini in his position under east stairs. Rexon doesn't win the round anyway. Again, it's another instance of just giving them something. Rexon can't win the round at this point. It's literally impossible for Rexon to win the round, because even if he put the plant down right this second, he's planting at 0-0. So he'll lose the round anyway. It's more a factor of principle at this point. When it's a 1v3, there's 5 seconds left. He's nowhere near planting or being able to plant. If he did plant, it would be 0-0 anyway. I just let him plant. I just give him the plant at this point. I just let him try it. Obviously, I wouldn't let him finish the plant, but I'd let him start planting. I wouldn't peek this. Or I'd tell my players not to peek this.
Quite obviously by the beepers, so DZ shut that one down as well to secure round 6 first.
It's again another mid-round where Soniqs comes so close to success.
It's a pretty big thing when you're in like a 3v2, for example. And when you have maps and the way the maps are laid out, usually you have like a room, a bomb site, and then the other bomb site, kind of like in a 3 stages. Usually what tends to happen is one of the bomb sites becomes like no man's land because one of your defenders is dead in there, or whatever the reason may be. It's better to let them push into the bomb site and start the plant than it is to challenge and try and retake this middle bomb site from the last bomb site. Because when you're putting down the case, suddenly your 2 versus 3 becomes a 1 versus 3, because whoever's planting does not have a gun. And the animation to put down the case and to pick up the case once you've cancelled your plant is long enough and kind of loud that it basically leaves one guy in a 1 versus 3. Which is why if there's 10 seconds left and you're in a 3v2 and you're in this weird situation where one of the bomb sites is no man's land, come on in attackers, plant the diffuser, I fucking dare you. It's a perfect time to go for a retake. It's one thing we practiced a lot on Koi, and it's one thing we got very good at on Koi, is retakes and identifying win conditions for rounds.
Of this map, correct. First round, or just move into the site like we just saw. But DZ are still holding on to this early round, and it is making the difference. And even though it's close, it is inching them closer and closer to victory, whereas now they are 1 round away from getting these 3 points.
Soniqs have tried to force the issue here 2 times on the Vets plant here. As we go back to this one already now, those previous 2 attempts, it's been a 1-1 record for both tries. The first one ending up in their palms, but Dark Zero responded in kind.
Another bug on this game? Wow, that is, I'm surprised. They're going for this reinforcement shield again. We'll see how that plays out. I remember watching the Border Finals vid, and they were always talking about what the win condition is. Yeah. Talking about what the win condition is puts everyone on the same page. And when your entire team's on the same page, it's very clear when someone makes a fuck up or a mistake. When everyone is on the same page what the win condition is time, win condition is the retake, win condition is whatever. No one has an excuse to not follow with that win condition. No one has an excuse to ego peak at fucking 5 seconds left in a 2v1. No one has an excuse to make aggressive plays or to do the opposite of what the win condition is. It's a very good way of reining players in.
They force the issue, even if it's luck, just 1 round, and they'll be able to secure overtime. Soniqs can surely do that. They are surely a team skilled enough to get that 1 round. An adjustment I also want to point out, Gunner is now going to the Nook. He's been playing operators like Sledge, like
MAT versus BC was a big upset. Good night.
and on round 12, finally,
Jesus Christ.
Domes Pan Bazoo and CCTV, and that forefront position of Dark Zero's defense is gone. A Canadian will rotate into that spot, John, and he will.
Yeah, this will be the only game I watched today. When I did Koi versus Wolves, the VOD was 4 hours and 20 minutes long, so yeah. And yeah, BC, I mean, BC turned up. They did well. They did really well. That'll be an interesting one to VOD review in the future. Theme Park 7-3. I'm looking at it now on Wikipedia. So the first death is just, it is what it is, you know what I mean. That's a good night, and there's no way to untuck yourself from that bed. I feel kind of biased answering that one, Ledix. But just by sake of owning the literal World Championship title recently, Fabian, obviously, he must be doing something right. So the main question now is, like, obviously this match goes to overtime, spoiler alert, but the real question is, how could Dark Zero win this? Again, it's a situation where you have two players that are reasonably split apart. I take back reasonably. Very split apart. Fuck me. You have to get as many 2v1s as you possibly can, but let's throw that out the window. Let's go for option B. How many 1v1s can Achieved and Canadian achieve in their own corners? Excuse me. There's one guy in Armory, one guy in CCTV, two guys outside of sight. So Achieved is already in a very strong position. Canadian needs to basically kill the first man in the door. He's taking a very passive angle at the far back. He's being droned and the diffuser's going down. Unlucky. Unlucky. Save C4 that implant. Yep, that's a play. I think if Achieved went a little bit sooner, he could have potentially caught this player. I think this is Ash, this is Citizen. I think if Achieved went a little bit sooner, yeah, he probably could have gotten something done. Truth be told, I think just Achieved coming to Canadian and giving him support was probably the best play. But yeah, it's a hard one to win, unfortunately. They're so spread out. Vents is an unforgiving bomb site. Very unforgiving. Could have had Canadian come out of the site, go up main stairs, try and get your 2v1 upstairs. Based on the choices they made, that's like the one, I guess, they could have done. And then just retake through above. Make it so that the attackers have to go outside, and then you can maybe do something with that. But overtime, Soniqs are back on defense. Pambazoo onto the Nook. Has been very slow on Nook all game. He had one round where he went pretty quick, got a kill, got out. That was really good. But other than that, I'm finding his Nook play a little passive for my tastes. I think definitely need to get a drone in front of him, or alternatively pre-place some drones in his path wherever he wants to go. Basically, he sets an endpoint. I want to go from main door and I want to finish in towers. So set up some drones for custom, set up some drones for workshop. Something like that. Spawn peek. Is what it is. Not much you can do about that other than hit your shot. So we got a hot droned ace. That's very interesting. And here we go. We actually have a deep drone. We have a deep drone for Pambazoo, so he can actually walk in very quickly. Now, he's been baited on accident. The drone ping comes for Grinder here, or Bathroom. Probably Bathroom, judging by the distance. But there's a player tucked in on his right. Does he know? Yep, there's the yellow ping. So now he knows there's someone there. So this is really good so far. Really, really good from DZ. He needs to win his fight. Oh, the timing. Unlucky. How many defenders should stay in sight? In this site, you need one and then probably one in customs. And then the remaining 3 upstairs. But that was good. In, get your kill. Fuck off. I would say they could have stuck around. But I'm assuming DZ's rotating as a unit to push something now. Ugh, there we go.
Geo has made sure that things are doubly reinforced here on the inside of this extension as well, with the electric claws reinforcing the descent through the hatch as well as the main wall coming from the top of the metal stairs into Fountain there. Will not really leave an open access point for Dark Zero as they don't have a capability to work past that. So instead, they work their way down on the first floor instead, and they're going to attempt to go for a little bit of pressure on East Main.
So 1v1. Wrexham wins his 1v1. Nothing more than what it is, a 1v1. I'm a big hater of 1v1s in Siege. I think it's just in everyone's best interest when you're playing to try and not take as many 1v1 50-50 gunfights, because that's a fair gunfight, and fair gunfights are not fun. I want to win, you want to win, the team wants to win. Don't take fair gunfights, because fair gives them an equal chance. Yeah, LATAM will be next. And I'm going to probably watch Liquid NIP, because I believe that was a 7-1. And I don't want to be sat here for 4 hours doing another analysis. Although, whilst I really fucking love doing this, I love analyzing, and I love just sitting there in my own time, analyzing VODs and things like that for work and for teams. When I'm talking through it like this, man, my throat gets fucked. I gotta guzzle tea just to try and keep it going. That's a cheeky angle. What are you doing? That's just negligence. And now we're in a 4v2. Now, Canadian got fucked pretty hard on this angle, I think, last time. Or Gavini. He pre-fires it this time. And here's the crazy thing, right? Canadians here. And Achieved is pinged here. So they now know where both players are. I think Canadian comes up here. I think Canadian rotates to Achieved, and they work together to take as many loose ends as they can. Now, Achieved doesn't know where anyone is, so he's just going to nade suicide, because hey, fuck it.
2 kills needed for each of these attackers now if they want to make this play a success. And on top of that, still need to find some time to get the plant down onto the ground as well. There's the first one for Canadian, but unfortunately, he's lost.
Canadian gets his entry, gets his 1v1. Quixer gets his 1v1. Again, it's just 1v1, 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 1v1. Just a bunch of fun and fair gunfights, which just isn't the way to win rounds. I think an over-reliance on gunfights just doesn't work. You can make a reliant strategy on gunfights, but you need to add another layer into it, like hot drone, traders, crossfires, flashbangs, utility dump. You can finish it off with your gun, but every single time you round a corner and your enemy rounds a different corner and you're now facing each other, you're literally in a Mexican standoff. Like, who can draw their guns quick enough? Who can shoot their guns quick enough? It's too fair.
site Dark Zero go to for their one singular defense in overtime. Armory by SQ, or no, by DZ, excuse me. Armory by DZ was not their favorite site to go to. Definitely lean more towards vents, definitely lean more towards tellers, and maybe trying to catch them off guard because this is the one site Dark Zero did not lose at all, even though they only played it.
What EU teams do you think will go to the major? G2, Wild, the main two right now. Maybe BDS. I think everyone else is kind of struggling. Astralis had the most insane plot armor ever, and I say that as an Iconic fan. Man, like watching their VODs before we played them. Like I was watching VODs, and Tristan was watching their VODs. We were watching VODs and stuff together. Like man, we were like, how did these teams lose this? They just push in. They take 50-50 gunfights all the time. They just keep catching people surprised. Like, how does this keep working? And then we played against them and like, fuck, how does this keep working? Jesus Christ, like, it was so stressful. To be fair, we lost so many clutches that game. It was one of those times where it doesn't matter how much training you put into like clutch situations. It doesn't matter how much like time and effort you put into like strategizing. Like, all right, we've planted the diffuser. We need to now get to post-plant positions. Like, in the heat of the moment, it doesn't matter how much training you've done. You will forget things. And unfortunately, when you're against the literal fucking anime protagonists, it's not always going to go in your favor. They just got their 1v1s in those clutch situations, and I'll be honest, I say this not trying to sound like a sore loser, but we played bad in some of those instances. We shouldn't have lost some of those rounds. Don't get me wrong, props to them. They hit their shots when it really fucking counts. They clutch their clutches when it really fucking counts, and that's a golf clap from me. But man, we did not do a good job of those clutch situations, counter clutch situations. Keeping it together? Aye, nearly done. Oh boy, I wonder where this rush is coming from.
It's a gamble, but if you lose, you have one more round to bring things back. Try to be decisive, and what this lineup indicates is a very quick, sudden plant inside of our...
That lineup, man. It's got 6 smoke grenades on it.
The glass holds an angle. The Monty goes on in, and if he's not planting, someone behind him will. That is what Soniqs are gambling. What will likely be the most impressive victory for them will. That is what Soniqs are gambling.
I think here, right here, Canadian should know. I think the call out should have been made by someone on the team that the window and the door on Archives is open and a drone has come in from Archives' door. Never in the history of Siege has anyone opened up the Archives door and just casually rushed their drone through the bomb site, unless they're rushing.
Be the most impressive victory for them so far in the NAL, just based on the team they're playing against. That is what they're aiming for here in round.
Good lord, that's like the freest rush ever if they wanted it. No one in Archives to contest for the Nitro. No one playing inside of Closet. No one playing up on the Lockers half wall.
14.
Canadian is the saving grace right now. And I reckon they go when Citizen nades. Yeah. They wait for the Nitro. He scuffs it. And this is the infamous clip as well, by the way. This is the one where Gunnar goes huge, and you can hear that, like, Geo in the background, like, come on, boys, let's play it safer. Let's get this plant down. Let's win on the principle. But then you got Gunnar fucking screaming his head off, like, I'm going crazy.
Gunnar pushes right through the smokes himself and claims not just one, but 2 kills. Let's make it 3 as well. Achieve cannot contain it. So it's the Soniqs shutting everything down. Gavini will get away with 1 exchange on the Nitro, but he is also already down for the count. Also here,
I think looking at it from the overview, I think what Gunnar did here is his job. I think this is A-okay. He runs in through the flashes, through the fire and flames, even though there's no fire and flames. Runs through the smokes. And he basically sows as much chaos as he possibly can. He does his job fine here. I think the issue comes now on Geo's plant.
Gunnar pushes right through the smokes himself and claims not just 1, but 2 kills. Let's make it
I don't think Gunnar should have been screaming.
3 as well. Achieve cannot contain himself and claims not
But
just 1, but 2
whatever.
kills. Let's make it 3 as well. Achieve cannot contain it.
Nitro stops the plant.
Shutting everything down. Gavini will get away with 1
But it's a 4v1.
on the Nitro, but he is
Another instance of how many 1v1s do they give Pambazu?
everything down to Pamba. He makes a late flank in through East May, and they haven't necessarily spotted this outright. And even more so, the Soniqs, believe it or not, actually haven't gotten the plant just yet, but it's not gonna
And of course, it's an off angle, so let's actually go back. This is the last round. Let's look at it from DZ's perspective. So initially, I said here, drone comes around the corner. It's not like come wide, like most drones come from the window. It's come around the corner. It's come from the door. There's no info on Easters. Easters is still A-okay. There's nothing going on in customs. In CCTV. Nothing Easters, no CCTV. Maybe some cameras down below are dead. Archives bulk is open. Archives door is open. Deduction as a defender. Oh, even the window is open on lockers. Deduction. It's an archives plant. And the only time you'd ever archives plant is if you're rushing.
And the follow-up plant through it. There is
So the smokes come in. The big thing here is to not freak out. You have your golden goose in this situation is Gavini. He's Warden. He can see through the smoke. He is your glass counter. It is a 1v1 Gavini on glass action.
may have not been properly checked for, and that'll be the player in the back corner of the armory portion of this one, but there you go. You call
Do they know Sledge has workshop? No, they don't. Only if cameras are destroyed downstairs would they have an inkling that someone is downstairs. Because not even the hatch is open here to contest him.
called it perfectly.
The flashes come out.
Back in, we see the Valkyrie trying to push her own way forward to attempt to
Now, if I'm Canadian, or if you ever find yourself in the position where Ying is flashing you, if you have the hatch closed, go prone here. Just go prone right here. And just wait. Because Ying has a job. Ying is... Remember this one, please. Guys. The only person that can see through Ying's flashbangs on her own team is herself. No one else can push with Ying. Ying's only goal is to go as deep as she possibly can and sow discord and chaos as much as she can. There are instances where Ying's might just throw all of her candelas and just sit far back and play it safe. That's fine. That's fine too. I dig it. But as a defender, it's better to play it safe and assume, especially in North America when you have players with, the nice way of saying it is big balls. They'll make some crazy plays like this. Just hide in a weird spot, let the Ying run through, wait for your flash effect to wear off.
stop this play, but instead it goes the other direction. Gunnar pushes right through the smokes himself and claims not just
So immediately, Canadian should have just probably hid instead of panicked. You've got Castle here. I'll be honest, NGR got fucking 180 flicked.
pushes right through the smokes himself and claims not just one, but
That's just a gunfight lost through a soft wall. So right now, Canadian, sure, should have probably hid. Both achieved an NJR. Just lost some gunfights. Gavini loses the fight to Glaz. So that's your Warden loses the fight to Glaz. And Pambazoo is in the middle of Africa at this point. He's got to run all the way to North America from Africa. If no one panics, Gavini gets the nitro onto Geo. 5v4, diffuser down. Most of the smoke grenades are gone. Maybe DZ can win. But now we're going into the realm of like real hypothetical. But, yep. Off angle. Gunner's going crazy. And there you go. Wow, we managed to do that one in only 3.5 hours instead of the 4.5 hours from last time. But yeah, it's a close game. It was a good game. It was back and forth. I think both teams had their ups. Both teams had their downs. I think Soniqs' deduction was pretty poor. I thought DZ's deduction on that last round was pretty poor. Equally, I think the gun skill of these players is really good. I would have loved to have seen more trading, more crossfires. I've seen the clip in Shun, yeah. I would have loved to have seen more crossfires and more double peaks from both teams. There's a lot of room for growth on both teams, definitely. I think each team can definitely squeeze more juice. Yeah, it was close. It was a good match. I think both teams definitely had the opportunity to run away with that game much earlier on if they got more of their shit together. I think both teams fall into the trap of taking the path of least resistance against bomb sites like Tellers and Bathroom, where you can't take the path of least resistance because then you just give the defenders way too much space to play in. But yeah. If you're a team looking to replace your coach or looking to pick up a coach in the professional leagues, I am a free right now. I am a free agent. I can join your team immediately. I have bills to pay. Please pick me up. Jokes aside, I am still looking for a team. I think I would be a good asset on any team that I join. I have a lot of experience in this. I've been in the game longer than most of the players that are in the game right now. I know my shit. I'm hungry for it. Every year I get a little bit closer to winning the invite. meepeY speaks 17 languages. If you count saying one word in those languages speaking it, then yeah, sure. It's typically swear words as well. But yeah, there'll be another one next week. I'll be reviewing a LATAM game, unless there's a crazy LATAM game in between. I'm looking at NIP Liquid because it's like a 7-1, pretty quick, pretty straightforward. And I think that'd be interesting to look at how a team gets stomped versus how a team stomps. Or whether the rounds are actually closer than the score says. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing this. My throat has not thoroughly enjoyed doing this, but it can go fuck off. What date? Probably the same day next week. If you're new to the stream, hit the follow button. I will be doing this again, and I will be streaming in the meantime. Thank you very much for your support, guys. Thank you very much for the subscriptions, the gifts, the follows. I love you all. New meepeY Knows short comes out tomorrow. It has something to do with WMI. So if you're a WMI player, or even a professional player that uses WMI, I guarantee you've not done this because I've seen no one doing this. Until then, I will probably highlight this and then export it to YouTube for those people that only managed to catch the last half or want to go back and watch some more. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I'm going to go get some food. I'm fucking starving. Peace. It still didn't fix my overlay screen. It still says starting soon. Just pretend it says the stream is ending.